Connecting to the Reel Nerds is so easy. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook. We have a Twitter account, @ReelNerds. We also have Instagram. You can call us, 720-6nerds5. You want to email us? You can do that too, realnerds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giles.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're the Beyond the Trope podcast.
Every week, we delve into topics like pop culture, fiction writing, and other nerdy things.
We feature laid-back conversations, bad puns, and in-depth interviews with authors, comic creators, and more. Find our show at beyondthetrope.com.
Hi, my name is Paul Caroli, and I host a podcast called Changing Denver. It's a monthly show about our city's physical spaces, how we make them, and how they make us. But it's so much more than that. It's the conversations, ideas, and stories that define Denver's perpetual state of flux. Find more from our team at changingdenver.com and join the conversation on Twitter @changingdenver. Denver's changing. We can help.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Palmiotti, and you're listening to Reel Nerds Podcast. Now pay attention and stop playing with your dick.
Welcome to Reel Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic Con. Really? While I'm talking?
I got you some candies.
Okay, I
that have
forgive you.
Spider-Man on them.
Candy
Actually,
sticks. Remember when we were younger and they were cigarettes?
My future mother-in-law got these for me, but I'm sharing them with you. I don't know what a candy stick is. Here, everybody have some candy sticks.
It's what I probably should be using.
Oh, are they just candy cigarettes? Oh, that's really disappointing.
Here's a whole carton of
Was that
candy
one with the Green
cigarettes.
Goblin on it? You gave me the one with Venom on it, you
I know.
bastard.
Well, there's only 2 sticks a box.
What's a flaming
Here's a
pumpkin?
Clayface-looking guy, you thief.
Oh, that's Jack-o'-lantern? What is he doing on
I don't know what this one is. Is that a vulture? It's like a
That's
weird
the
vulture.
Beetle.
This looks like fire. These are all Batman villains over here. Firefly,
That's the Beetle.
Clayface.
We should see. When did the Firefly come out before the Beetle?
Ryan, look!
Iron. Oh, the Shocker!
Yeah!
He does look like Iron Man.
He does look like Iron Man. This is a really shitty
until
Shocker costume.
I noticed the quilts.
Yeah, exactly. The quilt is what makes it great. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right. We're unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2018 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me is
Brad.
Zach.
James!
and we have a special guest, Corinne. Welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
Love the shirt. Go Rockies.
Oh, sure.
They need to rally and make it to the playoffs.
Did they play today?
Purple rain.
Maybe.
Is it baseball season?
It is. And hopefully the Broncos can rebound. I mean, it could be worse. It could be the Dolphins. They lost to
we lost to the Bills today?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wow.
They lost to the New York Jets, who were projected to lose every game this year, and got smushed. I mean, I can't believe Jay Cutler isn't working out for you guys.
I haven't been paying attention to football at all, so this is all news to me.
You're a Jets fan? I don't know what's going on.
No. Miami fan. Yeah.
Oh, Miami.
Yeah.
The Dolphins?
Yeah, but I'm used to mediocrity, so like
You can't be like winners like the Broncos all the time. I get it. We all can't be.
didn't you guys lose 5 Super Bowls?
How many Super Bowls have you been to?
3.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome to Sports Corner.
Welcome to Sports
You
Corner.
didn't know
featuring
that.
Candy
Not only is
descriptions.
Ryan a real nerd, but he's also a sports nerd. Something you learned every day.
The more you know.
Exactly. So you never know when it's going to happen, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Ryan is not just good looks; he's also a wonderful voice and knows sports.
No comment.
These garbage sticks are delicious.
Garbage sticks?
It's the worst candy, but they taste like sucking on bubble gum.
It looks like chalk.
It is. It's
Like,
basically
hey, you know all that residue on
I honestly can't believe that
floor?
Jack-o'-lantern is on there. Now, can I see that real fast, Corinne? It could be Mad Jack. Let me look at what version
Why are
they
those
have.
two different characters? Oh, because comics have been around for 80 years.
Man, I don't know which one that is. I'm going to say it's a Jack-o'-lantern because of the flaming pumpkin. Well, you see, James, the Spider-Man villain, Jack-o'-lantern, actually made his appearance in Captain America 242. And after he died, Jason McIndale took the guise as a Jack-o'-lantern. And then he killed the Hobgoblin and became the Hobgoblin.
Oh, wow.
And then the original Hobgoblin came back and killed him.
Oh, wow.
And this Mad Jack is actually the niece of Mysterio, so she uses hallucinogenics and stuff.
She's a lady villain.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So and she has a pet cat named Maguire who is.
Yeah.
I think did I mess that up? Maybe I messed that up.
Fuck cats.
But that's a convoluted history of the Jack-o'-lantern.
I love the new openings to the show the last couple of weeks. It's either fuck Best Buy or you see James. Back in the days
so
of
I went to Best Buy this week, which weeks ago had many Switches, and I was like, you know what, I'm finally going to buy a Switch, and then they didn't have any Switches.
I'm waiting 3 weeks to get the Mario one.
Oh well, I pre-ordered the game, but I'm not 100% sure that there's going to be a Mario package.
There is.
Oh, did they announce one?
So it's like Mario Red. It comes with the game, and you also get a Mario carrying case with it.
Can I pre-order it on Amazon?
No. Fuck. I check every day. When you can, I'll let you know, and you can pre-order it too.
No, I'm just gonna buy a Switch and play SteamWorld Dig in my bed.
SteamWorld Dick?
Dig. It's like a digging game.
I thought you said. Did you sound like you said SteamWorld Dig?
You dig down, you get some gold, and then you buy a new pick, and you dig better.
You dick better?
Stop it.
There's a lady in this room.
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. So.
That's right. Corinne's also here too.
Going back to your jokes.
And
okay.
like
James's
most of our
mother
fans
listens to this show.
Like most of our fans.
I'm sorry,
not
Karen.
really paying attention.
I would just like to point out that every time I show up, I have at least 2 people listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
No, we're doing fine. We appreciate you
Our
coming on, though.
listeners
We love
double.
expanding our audience.
Yeah.
Plus, it's sweeps week. And
Now it's all of 4 people.
Nice. See? Hey, and actually, I do have some news. I shared it with Brad, and I don't know if the rest of you have heard this.
What?
But first, I'll tell you what we do. Every week on Reel Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie, and we podcast our experience to the world.
Yay.
This week, we saw Kingsman, The Golden Circle.
Yep.
Stay tuned to see if you should go see Kingsman. We'll say if you should see it or not, play the trailer, then spoil the movie. So this week, Alamo Drafthouse had a very, very special guest. Bruce Campbell came to Alamo Drafthouse and did his Last Man Standing trivia thing, personally signed books, and introduced Army of Darkness. So it was a day full of fun, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure my clicker was broken because I only missed 2 questions on it.
Oh, so you were a part of the game
Yeah,
show?
so like they give you a clicker, and there's 25 questions at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
And then they take the top 4.
Right.
I missed 2, but there was like 2 questions like this Longmont author wrote this book, and no one like who the and it's like some children of whatever, and I got that one right. And then there was another one like for this Burn Notice actor lives in Colorado. Which Burn Notice actor? Like stuff that they throw in there to like balance it up.
Yeah.
And I got those ones right. The only one I missed is I put in I pushed the wrong button number for one of them. And then the other one I couldn't remember. I can't remember the things. I was like 6. I'm like, how the fuck did I not get in the top 4?
It was the machine.
No, but it was like, but then I was like listening to people around me, and there was questions like, why did Silver Surfer get his powers? And I mean, if you're your comic nerd like me, a lot of people aren't going to know that he did that to save his homeworld from Galactus.
I knew that.
See, exactly. So it's stuff like that, but the common nerd's not going to know goofy stuff like that.
What's a Silver Surfer?
See?
Yep.
Exactly.
He's that character from the TV show Doug.
Mm-hmm. And I know not every... And the dude who next to me who started talking to me who liked our podcast, Eric, hi, if you're listening, thanks for liking us. He said he missed 7. So, like, I can't believe I didn't get in the top 4. I was so fucking mad. And then the questions that he was asking in the top 4, I knew all the answers. I was so fucking mad. But anyways, so when we were there... if you signed up for the VIP like I did and paid, Bruce Campbell would personalize your book. If not, it was like $60, and they live streamed it in the next theater.
And then you picked up a signed
book. Picked up a signed book, so he just signed it. Yeah. But he was pretty cool. He went over there and like hung out with them for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, cool.
So anyways, so that all happens and the game show's over. And I had this plan where I was going to walk up to Bruce Campbell and ask if he'd do a bumper for our podcast.
Yeah.
But I got something better. Brad, will you play my exclusive interview with Bruce Campbell right now?
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, here we go.
Bruce?
I like your shorts, man.
Hey, thanks. I love your shoes. They match your
my
pocket square.
Poof. It's not a square.
It's a poof.
It's a poof. It's an explosion of color, sir. Pocket squares are worn by squares.
Oh, see? So much smarter than me.
No, it's just my opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Have a nice day. What you just heard was 30 seconds of me interviewing Bruce Campbell.
Oh, man.
And actually, it was pretty fun.
Did he let you touch him?
Yeah, I shook his hand.
So well, you did that like 10 years ago when he was at the Vine.
Yeah, I mean, I've met him before. He's a really cool guy. Now that we've played that, I'll tell you the real story. So, so he said, so he left while they're like kind of organizing stuff, and his manager or his handler said, "Okay, guys, Bruce will personally sign your book and like one more item if you have it." But he won't personally sign each item. There's like, I don't know, like 300 people in the theater, so it's too long. Mm-hmm. So yes, you can bring up your Funko Pop action figure of Bruce, and he'll sign it.
I have one of those.
Yeah, and he said, but he's not going to sign. He's only going to sign one thing. So we got to keep the line moving because it's just. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a butthead, but his manager seemed like he thought he was more important than Bruce Campbell. I know they'll never listen to this podcast, so I don't care. And his name was Mike. So I could tell by the way he was talking that maybe I should run something by his manager before I go up there and I was texting Brad at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should run it by his manager. And Steve and Kendall were there, so I was like,
cool.
I'll talk to Steve, and then I'll go talk to his manager.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Steve. I said, hey, do you think Bruce Campbell would care about this? He says, oh, dude, Bruce is like awesome, and he's in a really good mood today. I think you're good. I said, awesome. So I went up to Mike and I said, hey, Mike, my name's Ryan. I'm with a podcast. I was just wondering. He's like, no.
Wow.
Get fucked, Mike.
I said, really? I was like, whoa, all right. So I was texting Brad, and while I was texting Brad, I was like, what should I do? Should I record my conversation with him? Should I? And Brad's like, well, try to work in Denver and podcast. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
I said, like, just hold your phone to your side and then ask him, like, hey, thanks for coming to Denver. What do you think? So maybe he'll say something like, "Oh, I love being in Denver," or something, and then we could cut that out and make it
make it like a bumper.
Yeah.
And so while I'm waiting to go up there, and I'm just sitting there, and this guy has his first book, If Chins Could Kill, and this is like the second act he's calling it. Mm-hmm. And his manager Mike says Bruce will only personalize his new book. And Bruce, I'm not even kidding. Bruce Campbell's like, fuck him, and signed the guy's book. I was like, all right,
Holy shit.
I think I'm all right. And so when I went up there, he told me he liked my shorts. I was wearing my red plaid shorts I always wear, and I was wearing my Reel Nerds shirt.
Yeah.
And he said he liked my shorts. I was like, oh, I love your shoes. They match your pocket square. He's like, that's actually a pocket poof. And so it's a really like funny 30-second conversation about style. And he says the difference between pocket poof and a pocket square is only squares wear pocket squares. I said, you're a wise man. He's like, not wise, just my opinion. And so it was pretty funny.
Cool.
But what's great being there, Bruce Campbell is really good at being Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Like he's really funny, and he could have left, but he said, does anybody have questions about Army of Darkness? And everyone asked the same questions, and I mean, he's been doing it for almost 30 years. He had an answer and a joke for every question they asked.
Wow.
But the funny part, when he was doing his like little last man standing, he'd say like, this Spider-Man's girlfriend, redheaded girlfriend, and he'd be like, funny you should mention Spider-Man. I don't know if you know this, I was in all 3 movies. And he'd tell stories about it. It was pretty great.
That's cool.
So yeah, Bruce Campbell's awesome.
I realized when you were saying you could have people like you could sign other things. I should have given you this creepy like just the face of Bruce Campbell that I have.
Should have.
That I actually like. Brooks gave this to me, and I kept meaning to give it to you, but instead it has just leaned on the back wall, staring at me as I go to bed every night.
Nice.
Which is pretty terrifying. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then he yelled at everybody because he said that Ash vs. Evil Dead will probably get canceled.
Oh.
And he says it's your fault for not buying stars.
Oh, that sucks.
And he's saying the story. He says, like, but stars cost $10 a month. He says, well, it's free for 30 days. So download the app, download all the episodes, binge watch it, then delete the app.
Yeah.
So that's advice from Bruce Campbell.
Funny.
It was
cool.
fun.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I know. And I got the book signed, and he was funny. And his manager was not very nice, though.
Yeah.
But I get it. I'm sure. And, he probably deals with shit all the time. And I mean, you have to keep it moving.
Yeah.
And there's a time limit because I'm sure he's probably in another city the next day.
It's unfortunately a necessary evil.
Yeah, and it's not the actor because he was actually really cool.
Yeah.
But if I'm guessing, it's a lot like if he didn't have someone there keeping him on schedule, it'd probably take a really long time.
I think you should have just gone for it because, like, what's really the consequence? Like, like you're going to go back to the Alamo Draft House. They're not going to keep you out.
Right.
You're not going to talk to Bruce Campbell in the future. Like, you don't hang out. You're a police officer, so if they try to throw you out, you can claim they're assaulting a police officer. So,
one, that doesn't work. And two, I have too much respect for Steve and the Alamo Draft House.
True.
To do something that would jeopardize whatever they were doing.
Yeah. That's fair.
And Brad, you listen to it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny, like, little 30-second clip. You know, it's whatever. Because he was wearing really cool shoes. They were, like, maroon, and his pocket poof was maroon, too.
Well, he is the essence of cool. I would assume he'd have cool shoes.
He is cool.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the Alamo Draft House, this is what's playing at the Alamo Draft House this week.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Kevin Smith.
Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill.
Hi, I'm Elijah Wood.
This is Seth Rogen.
I'm Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
I'm Ron Starr.
Welcome to the Alamo Draft House.
Can I just say that I did get to go to the Spaceballs movie party a couple weeks ago?
Oh, we were at the theater at the same time.
Really?
Yeah. Zach and I were there seeing, and Brad.
That's when we saw Mother.
Yeah, we all saw Mother right then.
We saw Mother instead.
We were probably standing in the lobby as you left.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good time.
Very
I'd
cool.
never been to a movie party before, and I told everybody it was like seeing your favorite artist in concert, because everybody was like, quoting the movie along with it and doing the little noisemakers and props and stuff.
Cool.
When we got out of the theater, Spaceballs was getting out at the same time, and there was a group of kids. And I guess you guys all got Schwartz rings or something like that in a party bag.
Mm-hmm.
And all these kids were like using the Schwartz rings, and they're trying to recreate Spaceballs. And I leaned over to Brad, and I was just like, I don't want to be a dick, but I really want to go over to those kids and tell them, like, you're using the Schwartz wrong. or totally Force Awakens it and go like, that's not how the Schwartz works.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been creepy too. So that's why
you should stay away from kids.
That's why I
don't go near kids.
I'm gonna make a great uncle.
No, I was hoping that the Green Goblin's in here. They don't have the Green Goblin, but they have the Beetle, Jack-o'-lantern, and the Shocker.
Well, they're candy sticks.
Yeah, so they have the best villain.
They don't have the best
and the guy
budget.
who looks like Clayface.
That's the Sandman.
Whatever.
Oh. Yeah, but this is the weird. This is a weird version of Sandman who looks like Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Anyways, playing at the Draft House is Beach Rats, which looks like it's some indie movie that I'm sure Steve programmed.
Is it? I thought it was a neon, not a neon, but a Draft House like centric thing.
It is.
Stand by what I just said.
I'm pretty sure it's a neon.
No.
Scanner Darkly, which is a really cool Robert Downey Jr. movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, they're doing all Philip K. Dick stuff this month and next month for obvious reasons.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Beer Dinner,
I love it.
and Silent Running.
There you go.
What is Silent Running? I know that movie.
Death Race 2000.
No.
Wait, Death Race 2000?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The movie's really boring, but it's cool.
Lolita, and The Graveyard Shift presents The Night Porter. And I don't know what it's about, but some chick looking at a dude who has a Nazi symbol on him.
And then they like have animal sex or something.
What?
Yeah.
On Thursday, they're going to start showing the Battle of the Sexes. That's pretty cool. I can't believe that's showing up here. Because it's only in like 25 theaters.
I want to see that.
What's that? Dead Man with Arkansas Traveler. That's an old Johnny Depp movie.
Yep.
In black and white.
That looks fun.
But on purpose, not because of time.
Yeah. No.
Fantastic Fest. Brawl in a Cell in Cell Block 99.
Oh yeah, that's part of their like whole live stream thing, like with the Fantastic
Yeah,
Fest.
and they also have My Friend Dahmer, which is the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, so that should be nice and creepy.
Oh yeah,
that sounds cool.
I wanted to.
They're also showing Apple Cart and Blade of the Immortal and Jailbreak and The Square and Top Knot Detective.
Steve said if you had to pick one Fantastic Fest movie to see, you need to see The Square.
Huh.
So, and then whatever the AGFA film is, which is it's a secret until I think that night. So.
Oh, okay.
And that's what's playing at the Alamo Draft House this week.
Cool.
Next month, I have like a bunch of really cool horror films.
Yeah.
Like the trailer I saw was pretty sweet before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, did you see the one with the Shaun of the Dead and all the zombies?
I mean,
stuff?
and I'm biased every time I see Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, oh, that looks great. And it might make every other movie look great while I'm watching it.
Yes.
I don't know. But that's a strong
There was some good stuff. I mean, shoot, they're showing The Thing, so
yeah,
it's hard to beat.
And I think I saw a flash at Bad Moon. They're going to show Bad Moon, which is a really obscure werewolf movie.
Is that a Stephen King one?
No.
That was a 96 pick for you. Yeah.
Yep. And it's a book called, based on a book called Thor. I can't believe it's
Thunder.
I wish that'd be werewolf versus Thor. Sign me up.
What if it's Werewolf Thor?
They fight a a giant wolf in the new Ragnarok trailer.
Yes.
They do fight a wolf.
Yes. But I want Thor to become a werewolf. Like a werewolf that can call down lightning.
Thor wolf.
Oh my goodness.
Copyright on this podcast.
I'm pretty sure
Chris
Thor.
Hemsworth. What if he was a wolf?
I'm pretty sure that Thor is in the public domain. We can make this happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Thor got it's just
Yeah, just as long as it's not Marvel Thor.
mythology.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My guess is the Marvel trademarks are probably the cape and the helmet.
It's the Thor. Yeah, the 6 dots for
Yeah.
sure. It's the Thor from
Mythology?
No. The babysitter movie.
Nope, that's Marvel Thor.
Oh shit.
It is credited in the credits. Pay
Brad?
attention to your credits from your favorite films from 1987.
That wasn't on there. Brad,
That's one of mine.
What?
you have some more around town, don't you?
Oh, we're going around town?
Oh, I guess James is the fucking host of this show.
I just want to move on.
Apparently
We need our musical intro.
Oh,
so
go
I updated iOS 11 over the weekend because I have an Apple Watch now.
Yeah.
Nerd. Me too.
but,
Upgrades.
I don't have an Apple Watch, but I updated
Oh
my
yeah,
phone.
and it's not running very well. I can't. The Landmark Theaters app won't open. It says needs to be updated, so okay, and then it just doesn't update. So
I think it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If it's not this week, then it's the next week. But
yeah.
I think.
So if you want to do a different segment while I figure that out,
I'm working on it.
yeah, look that up. I'll
This-
tell you the drive-in.
All right, what's going on in the drive-in?
They're still doing Atomic Blonde, It, and Annabelle creation.
Nice.
But then it changes to something else. I think it's Ninjago.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
It's Ninjago. It. I keep wanting to call it IT. It and Annabelle creation. So Ninjago's. All the comments on the Facebook page are like, "That's an interesting combination." Like
It is.
kid
One for
movie
the
and
kids
then horrific.
Mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
Kid movie, and then kids get eaten movie.
Usually the middle one's at least like a PG-13, but it like goes from like PG to R real quick.
Nice.
So,
really dark turn.
and then do you have it up?
Yeah, so on September 29th, it's going to be The Room and Rocky Horror Picture.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
hi,
I'm
Mock.
Did you see
But
the new trailer for that?
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
looks
gosh, that new
awesome.
trailer is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if you look at the camera.
Is this... Alley looks just like the alley outside. Why is that there? Because it's a real Hollywood movie.
Oh, his impression is so good of that.
I have never seen
They
The
need to
Room,
see
so
my
I-
ass
Oh,
to sell
you
this movie.
you really should see it. I would say I wish you'd come to see it when we went and saw it with Tommy Wiseau there.
It's only worth seeing like in public with other people.
Yeah, you really should see it with other people. You should see it if Tommy Wiseau is there because he's a fucking wax figure come alive. He's the most bizarre heroin addict you've ever seen in
And
real
possibly
life.
a vampire.
Yes, and possibly a vampire. I don't know yet. Oh gosh, it's so weird. Yeah,
Brad
and,
and I
and you
would-
should see it before The Disaster Artist because honestly, that movie's going to be a lot funnier if you have. I actually think it would be really interesting if you just watch The Room at home.
I think I'm going to. Is it
And
on
then-
Amazon?
Oh yeah, but if you watch The Room at home, it won't be as much fun for you to watch The Room, but you might have a really good time watching The Disaster Artist in a way that we won't because The Disaster Artist will draw attention to things that we've probably all like studied and already made fun of and laughed about, right?
I did watch an interview with the guy who wrote it, and he said he's watched The Room more than 100 times, but less than 150.
Interesting. He's keeping score.
Or he has limitations.
Right.
But
He
you never
has
know.
boundaries, guys.
But you never know. He wrote a book, and now he's a big Hollywood movie.
150 is
Greg
Sorry,
Greg
that was
Sestero
really
the-
good.
Was the interview that you listened to?
Which one?
Greg Sestero?
Sestero?
the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah, the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah.
Brad
Greg
and
Sestero.
Brad and I got to talk to him for a little while last year when they showed The Room. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he seems not like he's on heroin.
Seems like he's very well balanced.
Tommy Wiseau tried to sell us all his underwear.
Yep.
Super weird.
He has
Like
his own
that he
underwear
was
line.
wearing.
Yeah. Well, he was showing us
would-
the ones he was wearing, but he was selling regular, maybe unworn pairs.
Yeah.
He like wears them and puts price tags on them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, no, they had his name on them. Like on the waistband, they were like Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. That he wrote them on there, or like
No.
printed
I think
them
they
on
were
there?
printed. I think
Okay.
they were nice.
You just run over to Walmart,
branded.
grab a pack,
Yeah,
sign them.
Where's my Sharpie?
When someone said to him like, "Hey, you really need to figure out how to monetize how weirdly famous you are," he was like, "I have idea. I make underwear. They have my name on them.
We do ad. I have access to cameras.
I go from theater to theater and sell underwear," and everyone just laughs at him. It's so weird. And honestly, I mean, I was 2 feet away from the guy. Up close, he still looks like a Madame Tussauds wax figure. It's super weird.
Do you think he's such a genius that he's in on the joke?
No. I think he's a heroin addict. Like I don't think he's real.
In this Estero interview, we saw like he talked about how he's like super depressed after the movie came out, and people are like laughing in the theater, and he like really believes in it.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 30% though on Rotten Tomatoes? Like somebody likes it.
I like it. It's awful.
It's really 30%?
I think so.
That's strange.
I'm surprised it's not higher, honestly. Like because people who love and have seen that movie love that movie because they appreciate like this is so terrible. I mean, how many movies have you seen with 2 different sex scenes in it that use the same shots of the director's ass? Like it's just awful.
Why is he fucking her belly button? That's where her vagina is, right?
Oh, it's so bad. It's terrible.
But in a way, I think that it might end up being this generation's Ed Wood, which is pretty cool.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I mean, it's worse than Plan 9.
So the last thing you can see around town this week is on Tuesday is open screen night, and it's at the Bug Theater, 7:00.
Pool party.
We are having a pool party, and I don't see, you can't see the air quotes on the podcast. So
Are you putting slip and slides down the aisle?
That'd be sweet. I wish.
Or are you playing pool?
That's another way to think of it. No.
Did you design the poster?
I did. I was
That's why
designing
it
the
looks
poster.
so great.
It does, but apparently hasn't attracted a lot of people to want to go, so it's failing in its job.
Well, I don't think it's the poster.
Yeah.
I think it's pools. It's raining outside, so nobody wants to go to a pool.
Yeah,
I saw some of your neighbors were at the pool earlier.
Weird.
Yeah. Is there a hot tub, maybe?
Probably.
I don't care. Just go home.
But yeah, if you it's $5. Come hang out, watch a bunch of local films. If I think we have 3 so far.
Cool.
And then bring your own if you
Well,
want.
now you can show Jean-Claude Van Damme's damn van again.
It has to be less than 10 minutes.
But you can fill up the time. If there's no one else, fill up the time.
Yeah.
Make it about you, Brad. Come on.
Or just show Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Bug has a new screen and projector, so
Ooh.
that should be even more incentive. And it looks great.
Cool.
Like, it's a great setup.
Very cool.
James?
What?
Engage Real News.
Oh, okay.
It's Real News.
There are only 3 things worth talking about this week. The first is, did you see that Tomb Raider trailer?
I did.
Oh my!
I listened to the
goodness.
director's commentary behind it too.
It's so weird because it looks exactly like the video game.
If you listen to the commentary, he says that he purposely took shots from the video game, and put them in there because he loved it so much.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
he's Norwegian, so he says stuff like, "But
Like
I
this?
also put my own spin on movie."
Oh, good.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sure he's great. It's just Ryan's imitation is adorable.
No, I think it looks cool. You know, and she looks ripped in it. I'm like, wow, she like.
No, she's doing great.
And I heard she busted her ass to do all the stunts and train with the bow and arrow. So good for her.
Yeah. She has a
Remember when
pickaxe
she was
and-
running in the trailer and she shoots a dude in the head with a bow and arrow? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Oh man, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
I want to see that movie.
Me too.
I mean,
like
yeah.
6 months.
It's so far from now. In other news, Tom Hardy is going to play Venom.
Yeah.
And also Disney is making a sequel to The Rocketeer. Can you believe it?
No.
That was news.
Holy shit!
Earlier this year.
Hey, Brad, shut up. Yeah, there's not really any other news. There was a cool the new Murder on the Orient Express trailer I saw before our movie this week, and I thought was pretty good.
I always have faith in Kenneth Branagh. I still the only problem I have is it's set in this really cool like Victorian setting, and then it's like like this really like hip
there's like a
music.
modern.
It's just marketing,
I thought it
Ryan.
was
I
supposed
know.
to be 1920s.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
not Victorian.
Well, whatever.
Ryan doesn't know about time.
Maybe it's 80s. That's Victorian. lawyered.
I took that.
It's really 1920s.
Yeah.
From the dress and stuff.
Oh, that's where I missed it. I thought it was the ties.
And also because that's when it's set.
Yes.
Sure.
I was seeing it with Rafe, though, who knows nothing about Murder on the Orient Express, and he was like, "Oh, this looks cool." I was like, "Yeah, it does. It's an amazing mystery movie that if you haven't had it spoiled for you, you will probably have a great time."
You still can have a great time. The performances.
I'm going to enjoy it. It's just it's one of those things that once you know, it's a whodunit.
You could unknow, so you could watch.
You can't experience it the first time again.
I haven't seen it, but I know. What
you know the thing. Yeah, right. Don't say it. So it's cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. Other than that, is there other news that I missed?
Well, there's a trailer for something Brad wants to see.
Oh, the dog movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the Isle of Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's play that.
Okay.
The Japanese archipelago, 20 years in the future. Canine saturation has reached epidemic proportions. An outbreak of dog flu rips through the city of Megasaki. Mayor Kobayashi issues emergency orders, calling for a hasty quarantine. Trash Island becomes an exile colony. The Isle of Dogs.
I don't think I can stomach any more of this garbage.
Exactly.
Same here.
Words out of my mouth. Nobody's giving up around here, and don't you forget it, ever. You're Rex. You're King. You're Duke. You're Boss. I'm Chief. We're a pack of scary, indestructible alpha dogs.
Atari Kobayashi, you heroically hijacked a junior turboprop XJ750 and flew it to the island because of your dog. Darn it. I've got a crush on you.
We get the idea. You're looking for your lost dog Spots. Does anybody know him?
No.
I've lost all of my pride.
Spots, if he's alive, may very well be living, even at this moment, as a captive prisoner.
Somebody is up to something. Will you help him? The little pilot.
Why should I?
Because he's a 12-year-old boy. Dogs love those.
We'll find him. Wherever he is, if he's alive, we'll find your dog.
It's gonna be a fight!
I wish somebody spoke his language.
Wow. To the north, a long rickety causeway over a noxious sludge marsh leading to a radioactive landfill polluted by toxic chemical garbage. That's our destination.
Great. Got it.
Get ready to jump.
I actually haven't watched the entire trailer.
I haven't watched it either.
So
I don't know what
weird.
you're talking about.
even for Wes Anderson.
So whenever Wes Anderson has a new movie, we know it's going to be on Brad's top 10, and we're just
True.
So we just associate it with Brad.
It's like a Fantastic Fox looking animation movie about a bunch of dogs on an island.
Well, this time he's not stuck to the Roald Dahl material. He can do his own thing. So
True. Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like Lord of the Flies, but with dogs?
I have no idea. All I saw was the title for the trailer.
No. Well, what I can gather is like the Japanese have outlawed dogs in their city, and so they put them all on an island.
Trash Island.
Trash Island, yeah. And a boy in a rocket ship lands there, and he's trying to find his dog.
Yeah.
You gotta watch the trailer, dude. Like I had to watch it twice to be like, did I just see what I saw?
See, I like Wes Anderson weird.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
it's fun. You know, when you see the Moonrise Kingdom and it has weird moments in it, I think it's great.
Oh yeah, I'm not
endearing.
saying it looks like bad or anything. It's just like it took me aback because I was like, this is interesting. Like it's a dystopian future movie in a weird way. So
sounds good. I'll see it. Hopefully, we didn't just make people sit. Is there dialogue in the trailer? Or did we just, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't just make people sit through a whole bunch of weird music.
It's actually
Or
a
dogs
lot of
barking.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, or just 2
all
minutes.
All the dogs have like Brian's like One of them's Bryan Cranston.
All the dogs are Bryan
And
Cranston.
No, but that's just like one of them that
Bryan
I saw.
Cranston
from
is one. Bryan Cranston is another.
Jesse.
Yeah, but they all have human voices. But yeah,
cool.
But most of them are like the traditional Wes Anderson repertoire.
Yeah. Does their hair constantly like flicker in that same weird way?
Yeah, like
Cool.
someone's been animating them by hand.
Yeah. That's neat.
I just want to bring it up really quickly, though. There was another trailer that came out this week for the director of Bull Durham is back, and this time he's doing an old people versus another old person movie called Just Getting Started, and it's basically Tommy Lee Jones and Morgan Freeman fighting each other in a retirement home.
Oh.
And like I saw the trailer, and I'm like, this looks bland as hell. I'm going opening night.
Huh.
I have to see like what else Morgan Freeman can do to be raunchy at this point. I want to know his limit.
Does Morgan Freeman ever run and shoot an arrow at a guy's face?
No, he does not. So he's not as cool as Lara Croft.
I'm uninterested.
Yes. We also buy Blu-rays some weeks. Might not this week, but this is what's happening on Blu-ray.
We will.
DVD releases and Blu-rays. Speaking of which, I got into it with... I'm sorry, go ahead, Corinne.
I was just gonna. Can I have
Oh,
some more
yeah,
candy?
here. Would you like a shocker?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it all.
That's not... I meant it in a straightforward and polite way.
Oh my gosh, Ryan, that didn't even occur to me.
Well,
It occurred to me as I said
You got to
it.
be dirty like me and Brad, because me and Brad gave each other
Look
the
at each other.
same look.
Did you hear what I heard?
Yeah. Space Camp is out on Blu-ray this week.
I saw it at VHS at Tradesmart, and I wish I had gotten it.
Oh, the VHS of Space Camp?
Yeah, because they showed the trailer for it at like some Alamo movie, and like it looks like great 80s space. Like Leah Thompson's in it, and
I'm gonna turn Ryan off. What?
You can do it in the alley right behind the bar.
Hey, we're talking about Kingsman this week. We have enough butt jokes coming up.
Two
so.
in the pink and one in the stink.
Oh, Ryan.
You can find that classic song on Steel Panthers, Feel the Steel.
Is the song called The Shocker?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
They were at Fiddler's, I think, on Friday.
Saturday.
Or Saturday, yeah.
I was going to go, but it was a festival and tickets were $100.
oh, never mind.
gross.
'Cause then
For
you watch
lawn.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. And
What festival?
that's like
a rock
Elevation High, or
Yeah.
High Elevation, something like that.
It's some kind of rock fest. I just know it means traffic's
High
backed up
elevation.
at my house.
It is true.
Yeah, Leah Thompson is in Space Camp.
See, the Shocker's about when you do too much drugs and your dick don't work, but your two fingers and your pinky do. I'm doing a public service announcement
Going
for
off
everyone.
the rails. Anyway, Transformers: The Last Night is on 4K this week, and Blu-ray, and a
For
different
an interested-
Blu-ray, and a Steelbook edition, and a different
In the
Blu-ray
song.
edition, and there's probably like a 3D edition, even though that wasn't a thing this time.
Of what? I'm sorry?
Transformers: The Last Night.
There is a 3D edition,
Is there a 3D
exclusive to
edition?
Best Buy.
Great.
So that'll be in the bin really soon.
There were almost as many Transformers Blu-rays this week as there were Wonder Woman Blu-rays last week.
You know what
There were
sucks
10
is
last week.
have you seen the Steelbooks at Target for Transformers? They're like awesome, and I'll never buy them, but they look cool.
Yep.
Transformers 1's really good. And Transformers, whatever this one is, kind of fun. Anyway, speaking of garbage, David Lynch, The Art of Life, or The Art Life, comes out on Blu-ray this week.
The Art Life. Let me talk about my movie.
That's my horrible David Lynch.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That movie is a fucking, like, chore.
I heard it's literally just you
It's
watch
just-
him paint.
You watch him paint and talk, and I was the most self-serving bullshit I ever saw.
Oh, like pretty much everything David Lynch does.
Debatable, but that movie
this
definitely
is a Vinegar
sucks.
Syndrome, so let me move that to the end. Oh, there we go. 1979's The Long Riders gets a Blu-ray release this week, as well as Queen of the Desert, which is a movie with Nicole Kidman. There's something called Red Net, which is some kind of horror movie where a man wears a bag on his head. That's what's the cover. The Princess Bride is got another release, but the cover looks cool. It looks better than the shitty one that I have. Anyway, Flatliners is getting a steelbook this week. The original Flatliners, not the movie from this year.
With Kiefer Sutherland.
Yep.
Who will also be in the remake.
There's a steelbook edition of Bride of the Reanimator. That hasn't already been out. Has
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
The steelbook?
No.
Oh, okay. Because it was pretty far down the list, but I also am not sure yet whether or not Blu-ray.com lists things in preferential order. Shout Factory this week is a movie called After Midnight, where a woman falls into a clock on fire.
Oh, yeah, I think that's an anthology. One of the
Terror Has No Curfew.
It's a horrible box art, but I'm pretty sure it's the box art that was on the VHS.
Yeah.
Do you remember it from Blockbuster? I remember that cover. I don't think I've ever seen that movie though.
Yeah, I don't remember this cover at all.
Sounds
it's
like one
pretty
of those titles
terrible.
where I'm like, yeah, I saw that, and then I find out like, no, I didn't.
I actually didn't believe it was a Shout Factory when I opened it because I was like, this cover is too bad to. But anyway, much better is the cover for It Stains the Sands Red.
Yes.
Which I think is just a movie where an
Italian.
attractive woman hits zombies in the head with a shovel, which is in a desert, obviously, and then it stains the sands.
So it's like
red.
Lawrence of Arabia, but with zombies?
Yeah,
Or
basically.
maybe it takes place at a beach, James.
And then the whole set, it could.
Yeah,
the voice
idiot.
of reason.
Very fair.
Did you just assume that Sam's
James turns
identity?
his hat backwards and he
did.
just becomes not intelligent.
I did. So and then the last three things are from Vinegar Syndrome. This week they've got Psychos in Love, which is some kind of woman yelling, and then it's got a weird sticker on the front. I don't know. It's about psychos and they fall in love. Trip with the Teacher, which I think is just some kind of erotic thriller.
It's an acid trip with your fourth grade teacher.
It has a tagline I don't even want to read, which is, "They forced her to commit the ultimate sacrifice." I really don't.
Shocker?
Moving on. But yeah, totally the winner of the week is this week. Vinegar Syndrome is releasing Edward D. Wood Jr.'s Orgy of the Dead. So you can pick that up on Blu-ray. It's got all kinds of psychedelic ladies and skeletons on the front because he's a fucking madman. You should totally see that movie.
Did you get your Porky Pig this week?
I did not.
My Amazon, I complained. I never complained to Amazon, but lately, so since I've moved, they keep on messing my delivery dates up.
Okay.
And so stuff that's supposed to come out on Tuesday didn't ship until Thursday, and stuff I pre-ordered. So War for the Planet of the Apes comes out, I think, the 24th. On my thing, it says expected to ship the 31st. So I complained. I said, why am I getting them shipping a week later? I thought the point of pre-ordering is so I get them on release date. And he said, oh, well, they ship on order of priority. And I'm such a dick now. I said, is having Amazon Prime for 8 years not a priority? and he's put right back. He's like, oh, we'll give you another free month and we'll fix it. It'll never happen again. I'll see this week. And if it does, I'm going to screenshot that conversation. I'm going to call him. Like, what's going on?
I want free Prime for life.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I pay $99 a year for that shit.
Prime is what's best in life, Conan.
Yeah, unfortunately, they paid $2 billion a year for it, so they lose a lot of money on Prime.
Do they?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh man, how are they ever going to make money?
No.
Well, when they run all of those King Supers out of business, they'll figure it out.
I don't think it's a company-wide problem because the caveat on mine is that I had a bill that I had to pay, so I had to cancel the pre-order, but the price is still the same, so I reordered it on Friday. So I shouldn't be getting mine till Tuesday anyway. So
no, I threw a fit.
Yeah,
because it's just bullshit.
I agree.
Why do I pre-order shit?
I know, just because there's an address change, this shouldn't be.
Well, yeah, and I understand that I'm in the mountains now, but I told the dude, I told the dude, I'm 31 miles from Denver. I'm not that far away, and it's not hard to get there.
Yeah.
He says, "Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Frost." I'm guessing that's what he sounds like.
Gotta go down the old creek to get to the old Frost place.
Yeah.
We did sort of miss one, which is that on Friday, I guess, The Little Hours was released on Blu-ray, which was that Audrey Plaza We're All Nuns movie. So
I want to see that movie.
I don't know why it released on a Friday.
It played a couple theaters here for a week and a half.
Yeah.
It went away.
Yeah.
That's Dave Franco. I always laugh.
Got
He's
Alison
on
Brie.
screen. Yep. We also watch movies throughout the week in a segment I call What We've Been Watching.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Corinne, what have you been watching?
So kind of similar to what I did the last couple of times, because there aren't really any other adaptations of the Kingsmen, I went back and watched a couple of different Colin Firth projects, because I love him. He's amazing.
And handsome.
So handsome.
I know.
So charismatic.
He's like
so
58.
talented.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh Oh yeah.
I was reading an interview with him because he doesn't really want to do those like big action stuff anymore. He's like, I'm 58 years old. I was like, golly.
He looks really good for his age.
He does.
So I watched a movie called Easy Virtue that he was in with Jessica Biel and a couple of other British people I recognized. And it's a really weird movie. It's like set in the 1920s and like it's like a British
the
family.
Victorian era?
No, Ryan.
Nice catch.
And she marries this young kid who's a little bit younger than her, and so she comes back to meet his family for the first time, and they're all really weird toward her. And it's not like horrible. It was worth watching, but it was really weird because at the end she runs off with the guy's dad, who's played by Colin Firth. And I'm like, on the one hand, that's really weird, but on the other hand, I kind of get it because they, they had a connection, and of any of the characters, I felt like they were the ones who got along the best. Like like he was like a World War I veteran. She had like helped her husband to commit suicide because he had like this really debilitating disease. So they had both like seen some stuff, and they kind of like, they got that like everybody else is like living their happy-go-free life while they were like, scarred by what they had experienced in their past. So it wasn't horrible, but I don't know if I would recommend it to people.
Sure.
I also today I watched a movie called Devil's Knot.
Ooh, it's a very good film.
Oh my gosh,
written by
so
Scott
good.
Derrickson.
Yep. So let me ask you, before watching it, did you know anything about the case?
I did not. I was 2 years old when it happened, so
Right.
I didn't know any. I was alive, but I don't remember the news coverage or anything. I just saw the little synopsis at the top of like 3 boys are murdered and this case happens, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
So the case itself was part of the reason that it has notoriety today is that when the trial was going on, HBO got permission to film the entire trial with Berlinger and Sarnofsky, and they released 3 documentaries over the course of 18 years about maintaining their innocence until they got released on an Alford plea.
Mhm.
And then Peter Jackson produced a documentary about it that kind of like encompassed the entire thing called West of Memphis. So but like when Devil's Knot came out, when I first saw it, I wasn't the biggest fan of it because it was like a truncated version of the whole thing. So I was kind of like taken aback on it. But I rewatched it like about 2 months ago with Scott Derrickson in mind because I had watched some of his films like leading up to that. And he's actually really good at kind of like getting to the point of it without like dragging you through every singular detail. And Firth is good in it. And it's Reese Witherspoon's great in it too.
So your chin's a little too pointy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're not all perfect, Ryan.
So having not known any of that, what did you think?
Oh my gosh, it was such a good movie.
Cool.
It was like really sad, obviously, because it's about 3 boys who are murdered very violently, and then they're thrown naked into a creek. And that scene where they find the bodies is just powerful, but also really tragic because obviously it happened in real life. But I mean, I was blown away with Firth's performance. I actually really liked Reese Witherspoon, and I'm not a huge fan of her, but I liked her in this movie. And I kept thinking that there was like some kind of a connection between them because like they would like look at each other, like he would look over at her in the courtroom and she would look back, and like different times like he would approach her and her husband would like tell him to go away. So I was like, did they used to date or something? Like, I guess I'm just kind of conditioned that anytime Firth looks at a woman,
I've had sex with her.
No, it's it's more of a romantic thing, but yeah, and I'll explain why here in a second. But yeah, it was really interesting, and of course, once it got to the end, and they were like, "Oh, well, we don't know who the real killers are if it wasn't these 3 guys," and I was really like frustrated because I'm like, really, like they don't know who did this, and so I had to research it. Like, has there been any update in the last 4 years? And there really hasn't. So
other than maybe the stepfather, but
yeah,
right,
it's
but
such a weird area to cross.
I mean, if you want to, so Zach was telling you because this was like his jam 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Yes, my jam.
So the HBO is called Paradise Lost, and there's 3 of them. Or you can watch The West of Memphis. Is 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah, and it's more of a overview of everything and kind of they did 3 was after I think West of Memphis.
Yeah,
and it's kind of gets you up to date. But I mean, you got to be prepared because in both they do show crime scene photos, and if you're not prepared for what's
photos and footage, and the footage is hard to watch.
It is.
Like, I can't watch it. Like it's tough.
Even people that are trained in stuff like this, it's stuff you don't forget.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting case.
The details of it, like, I think are sometimes even more disturbing than the footage you actually see because it goes into greater detail. But it was directed by Adam Egoyan, the Devil's Knot film, and he did Where the Truth Lies and a couple other, and Chloe, the one where Amanda Seyfried got naked, so I could see Amanda Seyfried's boobs.
Wait, Where the Truth Lies, the Kevin Bacon movie?
Yeah,
that movie is dog shit.
That's a theory.
That movie is so bad.
But but the whole thing that he does with Firth and Witherspoon looking at each other, it's not uncommon in his films. Like, he creates a sense of paranoia through that. So,
and Scott Derrickson, who went on to direct Doctor Strange, a lot of his movies deal with courtrooms and procedurals because he really likes it. There's a great interview with him on, I think it's with Kevin Smith.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So it's Scott Derrickson and Kevin Smith. It's like 2 hours long, and they really talk about that case and what attracted him to the exorcism of Emily Rose. I think it was just before Deliver Us from Evil came out because Sinister hit pretty big. So yeah, and he's from Colorado, so I always give him shout outs to Scott Derrickson because I think he works really hard and he's a really, really good filmmaker. And he can do action things.
So the reason that I'm preconditioned to think that Colin Firth is interested in a lady if he looks at her is because of the 1995 version from the BBC of Pride and Prejudice. If you guys have ever seen the 5 or 6 hour miniseries,
nope.
He plays Mr. Darcy.
Seen clips of it, but
yeah, I don't know if that means anything to you, but I rewatched that again this week because that was like my first big intro to Colin Firth, and obviously he's really good in it.
Is he pretty dreamy?
Yes, very dreamy.
Okay.
I recently watched him with Emily Blunt and Arthur Newman, and they're really good in it. The movie sucks, though. But, no, he's always like a guy. He's in a lot of stuff. You're like, I like him. And then he kind of just goes away, and he's like, oh, there he is again.
Yeah.
When you saw the King's Speech, did you walk out of it going like, damn, even when he stutters, he's sexy?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Stutter at me.
Zach, sexy doesn't take a day off.
That's
and
awesome.
then I watched Holes.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I hadn't seen it in a long time.
That movie's fun.
Oh my gosh, so much fun and really, really good.
Yeah.
Do not sleep on Holes.
No, I cried at that movie a number of times. Yeah. It's really good.
Like when Sam gets killed. Oh
yeah.
my gosh,
oh,
that's
it's super
really
yes.
dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Damn.
really good.
But yeah, so it's like it was like, how did they get Jon Voight, Sigourney Weaver, and Patricia Arquette to do this dumb kids movie?
Because it's awesome.
It's true.
Disney dollars.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah. Yeah.
They already had Tim Blake Nelson under contract.
And that's one of those that I go back to, and you watch a movie and you're like, man, Shia LaBeouf had a lot of talent. That's too bad.
He wasn't horrible in it, but he wasn't amazing. But yeah.
No, but you could tell he was a guy that could have been really good.
Yes.
But it's too bad he's not famous anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll make a comeback like Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, if he just keeps his head even Stevens, he's good. But I mean,
you're so proud of yourself.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
If he just
this is the episode where we all entertain ourselves, guys.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So then after I watched Devil's Knot, I was like, okay, that was really sad. I need to get another pick-me-up movie that's funny and bright and whatever. So I watched the Decoy Bride. I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's with David Tennant.
Oh.
And it's a rom-com. It's really stupid. But I needed it, okay?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I love David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck. I'm like, he's really good. He's the first. I mean, obviously, the guy who played Scrooge for 40 years was American, and So he's a real Scottish guy playing Scrooge McDuck. He's great as Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, cool.
And actually, in this movie, he plays a British guy, or an English guy, I should say. So he has his English accent,
Nice.
which is hilarious because it's set in the Hebrides.
What's a Hebride?
Hebrides is in Scotland.
Okay.
They're in the Outer Hebrides.
Oh. Cool.
On the island
Does it take
of
place
Hague.
in Loch Ness? I know where that is in Scotland.
No, it takes place on the island of Hague, which I'm not sure if that's a real place. Or
Hague.
not. Hague.
Hague.
Sweet, have my own island.
Seriously.
See y'all later. No.
Oh, son of a
Dang.
bitch.
The Scottish fortress.
Well,
of
when your
solitude.
family came over,
Yeah.
they changed
had
your
to-
name.
They wrote it differently, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if
Cool.
you guys ever want to watch a rom-com, it's pretty decent.
Oh, I thought you said it was stupid.
Well, I mean, it is because it's a rom-com.
Well, okay.
But for a rom-com, it's pretty good.
Okay. Oh, all
There
right.
are worse ones out there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's
Failure
way
to
better.
It's better than
it's way
Fool's
better
Gold.
Than any of
Better,
those.
Serendipity.
better or worse than Serendipity?
I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
You should. It's okay.
Bounce.
I mean,
Valentine's
this has
Day,
David
New Year's
Tennant in
Day.
it, so it's got
Mother's
that at
Day.
There you
least.
go. Yeah. Those are not.
We should do a film
Those
slow
are-
I guess they are.
shitty romantic comedies.
All right.
No, then we'd have to watch them.
Well, it would be like,
I'll come in for that one.
we could just do like ones we think that suck.
Yeah.
haven't
Raising Helen.
And we'll do it backwards, so it'll be like from 1 to 10.
The Nanny Diaries.
Fool's Gold. Sorry, Mom.
And that's all I watched this week.
Cool.
Nice variety. Let me... Brad.
Hey. I only saw 2 things this week. I finally got caught up on It. I saw It at the drive-in.
Nice.
Can I say a really quick story about it?
Absolutely.
So, I'm sorry, Brad. I know I'm like commandeering your thing.
No, it's fun to derail Brad because
No,
he gets really
this
mad.
is like a really freaky story. So, on Friday morning, I got up really, really early to go hiking. Because I've never been to Rocky Mountain National Park. I wanted to go up there and watch the sunrise. Oh, you know, all pretty. So I got up at like 4:30 in the morning. And I'm going out to my car and I'm loading up stuff. And the first time I went out there, I didn't notice anything. But the second time, I just happened to glance across the cul-de-sac. And tied to the handlebar of one of the cars on the side of the street was a single red balloon.
Awesome.
And it scared the shit out of me.
You'll float too.
I drove by there was an open house sign with a red balloon on it, and I was like, they've been doing that for years.
Okay, but when it's like 4:30 in the morning and it's dark and nobody's around
On someone's car.
on somebody's car,
And
Yeah.
people at New Line are like, "Ha, free marketing, yes!"
Let's count our money.
fuck them, fuck Pennywise, fuck all those assholes.
I thought it very inconvenient when I walked out of my screening of It and there was a balloon tied to the fire extinguisher. I'm like,
Love it.
Shit, fire death.
Yeah, I'm gonna start carrying balloons with me and just tie them to things as I go through my day.
You should do it. It's
I go to
awesome.
Best Buy, tie one to the DVD rack.
Well, you really got to time to sewer crates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's a little obvious, yeah.
But yeah, but then people will...
You should actually just tie them
Associate.
to creepy-looking clowns.
So how'd you like it?
So It, yeah, I thought it was good. I'm kind of baffled that I didn't think the clown was very interesting. Like he the performance is good and he's scary enough, but like I just don't get scared of scary movies at all.
I don't either.
So the rest of the movie is a great, like, it's like Stranger Things. Like these kids are great characters and it's fun to watch them, and but yeah, everything that's like this sci-fi clown thing, I'm just like, okay, cool, let's get to the end. So I'm like, I don't know if I'd watch it again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just, but I am interested to see, like, because it's easy to scare a kid. Like, also the movie had this, like, the flow of the
Sorry,
movie.
I just imagine that you have a lot of experience with that. Let me tell you something. It's easy to scare kids. Do it all the time.
For the good first, 30 minutes of the movie, like, I couldn't figure out what the point of the movie was going to be. Like, it seemed to go from scene to scene without any real clear motivation of what the movie was going to be about at all.
Right, yeah.
So about halfway through, I finally like, okay, we figure out that the clown feeds off of scaring the kids.
Right.
And so, like, but before that, you have to sit through, like, in sequence, like, 6 different scenarios of them all experiencing their fears.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, as a kid, it's easier to scare. So I'm interested to see as adults in the sequel how the clown, like, he has to up his game, and I'm interested to see, like, how he does
It's
that.
a bill from the IRS!
Yes.
That's the joke. Always like, oh no, I don't have any health care. Yeah, this is terrifying.
Donald Trump is president.
No. Your mortgage payment is due.
And then the other thing I watched is 20 out of 21 episodes of Gotham season 3.
Oh.
So like I
couldn't make it through that last one.
Yeah, I didn't. I was rushing and I couldn't get to it.
You two broke girls that season.
Yeah. But I'm actually impressed at like this. I think this is the best season so far because like all the pieces are in play, like all the characters, like they're introducing new characters, but the main ones they don't have to spend time like explaining all these backstories. Like they just Gotham can just exist now with like crazy villains, and I'm really impressed at how they've like turned the Mad Hatter Jervis Tetch into like a A-list character.
Huh.
Traditionally, his story has been that he's always like pined after a secretary or something to him like named Alice.
Yeah.
But in the show, they make her his sister, and so it adds this like
creepy,
disgusting like they suggest that he molested her. So she's always trying to get away from him, and then also she has like this blood disease, and all the villains are trying to harvest it from her, and then Tetch accidentally kills her, and so that thread leads into other villains' threads, and so there's a lot of moving pieces going on between all these different characters in Gotham. It's really like I'm compelled to watch each episode like week to week. So yeah,
I always have problems because I don't buy the kid who's Bruce Wayne.
And actually, in this like the first 2 seasons, it's kind of silly, but in this season, they're leading him up to be trained by Ra's al Ghul. So his stuff gets way more interesting.
I just don't think he has a look, but no.
Like there's a lot of it's weird to watch a lot of scenes. Not only does Jim Gordon get beat up so much that you like wonder how like he doesn't have just bruises all the time. Like every episode there's like a crazy choreographed just punching scene between Jim Gordon and like villains. But then even like Bruce Wayne, like this kid gets beat up like, constantly. And kidnapped, and it's just like weird to see all these adults like just wail on this teen kid. But he also fights back pretty well because by now he like Alfred's been training him a bunch. So and then he gets kidnapped and sent. Oh, there's also interesting nods to like Catwoman gets knocked out a 4-story window. And like in Batman Returns, when she gets pushed out by Max Schreck, like all the cats like swarm up to her. She doesn't get turned into Catwoman by the cats like biting her, but like they recreate that with all the cats like swarming around her, and then she gets like hauled off to the hospital.
Oh.
And then like when Bruce Wayne gets kidnapped, it's like Dark Knight Rises. He ends up like in a different country, like on a mountain, and there's a shaman who gives him like the blue flower stuff. So they're like nodding to the Batman mythos quite a bit in season 3. So
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I recommend Gotham. I can't wait to watch the season finale to see like
is that on
what
Netflix?
It is on Netflix.
I might watch it then.
Yeah, the first season's okay. There's still it's still kind of goofy. There's some like convenient stuff.
It's a TV show. It's all right.
Yeah, it's a network TV show. They're just just filling space to get to commercials and stuff.
I always look for something new to watch.
Yeah, but I think once you get to season 3, it like really like settles into being the show it needs to be. Because season 2 is crazy. Like the first season, they're trying to like be faithful to like impress like Batman fans, and then season 2, they're like, we're never going to be that show that you want. So let's just,
fuck it.
Let's just throw away out. Yeah,
Thank you. It's the general edict down at Fox headquarters.
let's just like. It seems like the writers also like try to think of the most interesting things they can do, and then they write themselves in a corner. And then they just say, fuck it, let's just like make up something to write us out of it and go somewhere else. Like, I think the Penguin should be dead by now, but they always find a way to like make him escape, and it could be the stupidest reason.
That guy was on The Walking Dead at the same time.
He was in Walking Dead?
Season 5, yeah. He's like the blonde-haired dude. When they go to Terminus, he's one of the dudes who... So he shows up, I think, in season 4 in an episode, and then in Terminus, he's like one of the dudes who gets executed.
Huh.
And they brought him back, and they on the commentary they said, "We begged the producers of Gotham to let us use him," and they said, "Yeah,
yeah." No, he's like the Penguin, the Riddler.
What's his name?
Huh? Robin Lord Taylor. Yeah, yeah. Like all the characterizations that are in the show. Yeah, it's worth a watch. Yeah.
Cool.
Zach?
That's it for me.
I watched a couple things. I saw the new Netflix documentary Strong Island.
Of course.
It's really good.
What's it about?
Well, so it's a family narrative, but the main plot is that there was a murder at a garage in Long Island involving a black man and a white man. And the white man claimed self-defense. Yeah, and it's from the family's perspective of the person who was murdered. And basically their take on it, which is interesting, is that he was painted by the prosecution and the detectives to be a less than savory character when there was very little to uphold that. And basically, it's not like, I don't think it's a case of racism. It's more of a case of like, let's just sweep this under the rug because this is extremely convoluted. But what's interesting about the film is that unlike most documentaries of this type, it's done with a first-person narrative perspective of the filmmaker, because the filmmaker's brother was the one who was murdered. So she inserts herself a lot into the film, and for the first 5 minutes, it was very off-putting, because I was like, I don't want to see your passion project, but she hooks me in the story enough to where I'm like, I do want to see your passion project. Because it's hard. Because if you insert yourself into the story as a documentarian, you're treading a really weird line.
Yeah.
Like Berlinger and Sarnofsky did it a couple times, but they don't like do what this woman did. Like when she's interviewed, it's not a normal interview angle. It's like a dead on shot.
So like she's talking to you purposefully.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really good. Will it be top 10 of the year by the end of the year? I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it again. And thankfully, since it's on Netflix, I have the ability to do that. But it was very strong. I do recommend you check it out. Netflix is really good at true crime documentaries. The only other thing on the documentary front that I saw is I started Ken Burns' The Vietnam War because it started premiering the day we recorded last week. So I let it record for a couple days, and I watched the first 2 episodes. It's really good. I mean, spoiler alert, Ken Burns is really good at doing documentary things, guys. He can make a photograph look like it's moving. So what's interesting about the first episode is that you actually get a little history lesson on Vietnam before the conflict, particularly during World War II and Ho Chi Minh, and basically the Viet Minh, and how their struggle that leads to a civil war, all because around essentially the fact that France wanted to regain control of Vietnam after World War II, and the only way they still had a French presence during World War II was because the Japanese allowed the French collaborators to maintain their stance in Vietnam. So it was, I mean, and granted, like, I may not be getting all the information correct. Like, this is just what I'm gathering based off of what is being presented. What's interesting is while they're doing that, they also kind of flash you in and out of soldier stories, both on the Vietnam side and on the U.S. side. So it's very interesting. This is not like most Ken Burns movies I watch because it's actually kind of playing with the narrative a little bit. And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score for this film, and it's fucking good. Like I'd want to buy the soundtrack alone.
That's cool.
But I also like Nine Inch Nails, so it's kind of like a bias there. So it's really good. I recommend you check it out. I'll let you know what I think by the end of it. Spoiler alert, guys. I think we're going to win that war.
Do we?
Find out next week.
That is a really complicated war.
I know. And you know what else, guys? I think Nixon will get elected for a 3rd term.
Yeah.
Police action.
And a guy named Rorschach will come into your house and investigate your murder. So.
Yes.
This podcast has seen me. I've seen its true face.
For all those who don't know what Zach's talking about, he's talking about The Watchmen.
It's just called Watchmen.
That was another story. Your Lindelof dude.
Yeah. When it happens, it happens.
I rewatched Saw because I'm getting ready for Saw Legacy. So I thought
that's too bad.
I'll watch a Saw film a week. It's not.
That's our movie of the week.
It's not. You don't like having fun is the thing.
Maybe I'll
so first off, it's fun. Like it's a good film. It's a really good thriller. Danny Glover does a lot of illegal police shit.
I know you text me. I forgot to text you back. I have to refresh my memory
Like,
about
the
it.
most obvious one is, like, when Detective Singh's like, should we go get a warrant? And it's like, Danny Glover blatantly says, who said anything about a warrant? I'm like, yeah, just go walk in with 2 loaded shotguns.
What do you need a warrant for?
Technically, yeah, you're right, but, like...
Is there agency circumstances why he needs to enter that premises? What's he doing there? Is he looking for someone?
It's convenient that they're able to isolate the sound off of VHS tape, I guess. Like, I don't know, like, it just seems like they're...
I'd have to remember. I have to watch
it and tell me if I'm wrong, because maybe I'm wrong on it, but I love the movie still. Tobin Bell's really good in it, like, because of his presence, because of, like, the aura his character gives. I don't think Lee Wannell's a bad actor. I think it's just I can see why people find him annoying in that first movie.
Well, I think he's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, but like, I actually think he's good. If you watch a movie called Mule, which I ended up watching,
I think he's great in the Insidious movies too.
He is. Yeah, and he plays Specs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cary Elwes is great. Although I like his delivery, like, there, I've done it. Now show them to me.
Cary Elwes
like,
is awesome.
he's like, he's losing his voice, man. But no, I dug it. I think it's a fun film. I'm gonna go through 2 through 7 again. Get ready for Legacy.
I think 6 is pretty great.
Yeah, I like 7 in parts.
Yeah.
My fear is that Legacy is gonna be a shit show, but we'll see.
We'll see. Again, I think it's too clean. Every time I see a trailer for him, I'm like,
that's
too
why I
clean.
feel like it's gonna be a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched Do the Right Thing. I don't know why. I was just bored. And
it's okay if you like Spike Lee.
I know, it's okay.
I mean, I like hack filmmakers too, but you know, I don't even know who I would say is like.
Yeah,
that.
I don't like anybody as shitty as him.
Yeah,
I like Samuel Jackson in that movie a lot. So, you know,
no, I think the performance in his films are great. He never connected with me, a filmmaker. When people say, "What's your favorite Spike Lee movie?" I'm like, Inside Man.
Yeah. It's interesting because Do the Right Thing is it's calling to mind an event regarding the police chokehold, Eleanor Bumper's case, and so like it draws a strong narrative. Obviously, Lee's opinion is very upfront, but you know, like, it's still a really interesting movie about like tension in the heat and tension in the world, but. I just love Sam Jackson's character because he's a radio DJ who essentially like narrates the life of Bed-Stuy, and like when something hostile's going on, like he'll interrupt and go like, "Whoa, time out!" And so I think it's fun. So to get ready for this week's film, I rewatched the first Kingsman. I had a lot of fun with it, like I did the first time. And we'll talk a little more about this later in the review, but I don't know if I love what Matthew Vaughn does in terms of tackling social subjects. I admire the hell out of it, though.
I love Taron Egerton. I think he's awesome.
Oh, Taron Egerton's good. Oh, he's really great. I'm more talking about like
I know what you mean.
The content and whatnot. Sam Jackson's villain, though, I have more of appreciation for him this time around because the first time I saw Kingsman, I was like, why is he doing that lisp? Like, I don't get this, and because I didn't read the comic.
When you do as many movies as he does, like
You
as
gotta
an actor, he's just trying to find ways to
whatever
entertain
motivation
himself.
he has.
But the thing is, like, this time around, it didn't bother me because I was like, oh no, he's pretty like interesting villain. Like when he does what he does outside the church and has an actual emotional reaction to it, I'm like, dude, man, like this is an interesting angle on a villain.
Yeah,
like I haven't seen that since Jackie Brown.
Yeah, that seems great.
I always, anytime something like that where the characters are so outlandish, I always just think back the writer is Mark Miller, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of his, kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Where I mean, no matter what he does, whether it's Kick-Ass or this, sometimes he takes the extreme, and not good or bad. I think sometimes epically, I think he's a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know too much of his lesser known stuff. I'd have to like Nemesis or.
Yeah, well, no one likes Nemesis.
Yeah, I'd have to read it. Like I like Kick-Ass a lot, but
yeah, I like Kick-Ass 1.
Yeah, I say just Kick-Ass.
Right.
Is there another one?
There's
2 of them, right?
The series, the comic book series. Yeah, there was actually a Kick-Ass 2, the series, because at some point he realized, dude, guys, I can make so much money.
Yeah,
So, but it's good. I think it's shot well. I think that. It's interesting because every review that I read before I saw it the first time said like, "Oh, it's extremely violent, extremely explicit sexually," And like when I saw it again the second time, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Is there lots of sex in that movie?
No, the only thing is at the very end when he's going to butt fuck her. That's about it.
Yeah.
And even
but
then,
he did save the world, like he said he would.
I mean, like, there's like, I love our prudish society when they have even the hint of anal. Everybody's like, oh, it's the most sexual thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, no, it's not. So, but over stylized violence, yeah. Like people explode purple, green, and blue sparkles. It's amazing.
Yep. I don't think it has anything to do with being prudish. I think it has everything to do with like talking like a 12-year-old and being proud of yourself when you do it. And that's how that comes off. Like, it's like, oh, we said butt stuff. Oh, look how funny we are. No, it's not funny. You're just dumb.
No, my argument
it's Mark Miller, and Mark Miller is a 12-year-old.
My argument is that critics.
Oh, sure.
Of
saying it's like
oversay like they like if there's one butt joke, they're like, oh, there's a ton of butt jokes. Like, no, there's the one you weren't listening because you wanted to go home to hang out with your family or something. You didn't want to pay.
Shame
attention
on
to the
you.
movie. Yeah.
Fuck
just
families.
saying I'm just saying watch the movie.
Mine off today.
Yeah, but and
just kidding, I had dinner with my wife.
Yeah, that's all I watched. That's all I watched this week.
Cool.
Not saying it's not okay to hang out with your family, guys. It's totally
sometimes.
fine.
That's what I heard. What I heard Zach say was, butt stuff is great. Families are dumb. That's what I heard. All Zach wants is butt stuff. Doesn't care about families.
Zach's epitaph.
Yeah.
Here lies Zach Eastman.
Family bad,
dumb,
butt sex good.
Oh man!
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. So this week I watched a movie called King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, which is directed by Guy Ritchie, who can be great, but this isn't it. So
I was really curious on this because there's a really big disconnect between audiences and critics on this one.
There's so much cool shit in this movie. Like plot wise, this is a cool movie. It's probably too long. There's sections that are boring. There's some cool... Okay, so this tells the story of King Arthur and how he has the sword. And so it starts off and like it's King Arthur. It's Arthur's dad. Like what's his face, Pendragon, and
get out of here, son! I don't want to see you anymore.
And
why is he
Eric
a beetle?
Eric Bana plays his dad, and it starts with this awesome big fight scene where like. Eric Bana's in a castle.
Does he kill Nazis in it? Because he's great at killing Nazis.
No, Eric Bana's in a castle with Jude Law, but younger looking, and Eric Bana's got a big sword that glows sometimes, especially when he's close to like wizards, and they're at war with the wizards, and the wizards.
Hobbit sword.
So it's like Sting?
No, wait, y'all don't even know the weird shit yet, because this movie's got cool shit in it. So the wizards are riding on the back of giant Oliphants, like from the Lord of the Rings, that have giant wood pyramids on top.
Are you sure that he just didn't watch Lord of the Rings?
No, I'm serious. The shit is crazy. So they're fighting and they're like shooting catapults at each other, and there's fire and people are dying, and wizards are like shooting fireballs out of the pyramids. It's really cool. And you're like, what the fuck movie is this? And so Arthur Pendragon's dad, what's his face, Steve Pendragon, like swings over.
I just told you what his name is.
Swings over with his sword and gets into the pyramid, and when he gets close to the wizards, like the sword glows, and then he like fucking wrecks all the wizards, and like the whole, and I think he even kills the elephant just cause. Anyway, and he comes back.
Elephant?
Yeah, like he almost wins against all of the wizards, right? But they tell you like, oh, there's this bad wizard guy.
Sauron.
Yeah, Sauron. So there's Sauron, and Sauron's like he's commanding all the wizards, right? And then while that's happening, like Jude Law is like, hey, I'm
gonna get Sherlock Holmes for help.
I gotta do something. So Jude Law leaves and he goes and gets his wife, and she's like, what's going on? And he takes her down to this like basement that's flooded, like the pipes have broken or whatever, and he stabs the shit out of her and kills her and like dumps her in this lake, and then like basically like some more wizard people come, and then Arthur's trying or Steve Pendragon's trying to leave with his kid and his wife, and then this like big monstery guy shows up and kills Steve. And then Arthur's in like a little boat. He's like 4, and he drifts down the river. This is the whole opening scene, and you're like, "This is awesome!" And then the sword. So the sword, Steve throws the sword up in the air, and it lands on him. And when the sword stabs into Steve himself, he turns into stone.
What a fucking idiot!
And breaks. No, he's already dying. He's been killed, but he's bleeding to death. The monster has killed him, but before he dies,
you know, it'd be really metal if I stabbed myself with my own sword.
No, it's more metal than that. So when he gets stabbed by the sword, he turns into stone, falls through the pier they're on into some water. Right, and so now
why is he turned into stone?
Because he's the sword in the stone. He's the stone. So he's pulled.
Like that movie that one time.
Right. Yes. So that's the spell he puts on the sword is the reason that only a Pendragon can pull it is because the stone is him. Anyway, it's not great, but it's kind of cool. So, anyway, so then we move forward, and Arthur's like, you see this montage of different people who kind of look like the guy playing Arthur as they get older, learning how to fight in the street and learning how to steal.
Sons of Anarchy guys.
Right, yeah, it's different people who kind of look like they could be in kids in Sons of Anarchy. And so as he gets older, he learns to steal and he learns to fight in the street, and he and so then we meet him, and he's this sort of Robin Hood-esque guy where he
shows
his
up
band.
in a Jaeger.
What? So he's this Robin Hood kind of guy where he's got his friends, and they rob bad people, and they beat up Vikings and shit, and you're like, all right, this is cool. The first, I would say, third of the movie, maybe even half, is pretty like a cool rock and roll fantasy film. It's pretty neat. You end up finding out that so the lady in the lake, or sort of one of them, or just some kind of weird wizard thingy, is in remember the wet basement, right? Mm-hmm. There's these, one of the coolest monster designs I've seen in a while, where this very fat woman who it's just Ursula from the Little Mermaid. So she's got all these tentacles, right?
Poor
and then
unfortunate souls.
And so she comes out, and he had sacrificed his wife to this woman, and that's how he got the power to kill Steve. But she also has thin, pretty monster ladies in her too, and they swim around. It's really cool. I was watching it. I was like, this is a really neat design. It was a neat scene. Anyway, but then it just sort of meanders. The dude who plays the pimp from Game of Thrones is in there as a guy who can snipe people with arrows. That's pretty cool.
Littlefinger.
You mean Aidan Gillen?
Sure.
I know him as Littlefinger.
Yeah, that guy.
Peter Baelish.
Yes.
Lord of the Trident. Lord Paramount of the Eyrie.
Yeah.
And the Vale.
He's the guy who sells women for sex.
Yes.
In Game of Thrones. Yeah. Okay, that guy.
And cleans them up.
Well, okay.
Zelda of the Nintendo. Anyway, go
on. Harrenhal. You just know him as the brothel keeper. Come on.
Well, I mean,
he's seen 3 episodes of Games of Thrones.
I've seen 2 seasons. And you know what that guy does? He sells women for sex.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just kind of meanders. The biggest problem with this movie, and there's some foreshadowing here, is
you can't remember people's names.
No, it's not that either. There's some really cool sequences, but when it gets to the real action sequences, it's all speed rampy, very heavy CG, and not very interesting. Even though there's theoretically cool stuff happening, where apparently when he gets the sword, he has to sort of learn how to use the sword once he gets it, and so he can swing it around and force push people with it, and it's weird. I don't understand, but it could be cool, but instead it's just a lot of weird. We're gonna spin the camera around this guy, and some CG crap is gonna happen, and it's not actually very, very interesting. What I would love is some cool scenes where he hardcore just sword fights a dude, and that actually kind of never happens. It's interesting. It's kind of fun. It's definitely kind of too long and meanders and kind of falls apart at the end. I would say the first half is good enough that it would be worth checking out if it ever comes on Netflix and you're just I'm gonna throw that on in the background while I do some laundry, and every time I look up something crazy is gonna happen. It's pretty cool. But
I feel like I've already seen it just from your little synopsis.
Oh, I only described the first third of the movie.
Well, you should just describe the rest of it because it'd probably be better than the actual movie.
Well, that's the problem. The rest of it's not as memorable. There's some long scenes where they run through the town.
You're not selling me on it.
Away
James.
from guys. I know, but you know what? It's not a movie I'm ever gonna watch again. But the first third is cool. There's some really neat ideas. It's just too bad that it's not better.
I'm just going to watch the first 10 minutes, and then right after it's done, pop in The Sword and the Stone and just pretend they're all the same thing.
Actually, yeah, that would probably
or
be
Lord
okay.
of the Rings.
Yes, that would also be
apparently
good.
they just stole stuff from Lord of the Rings.
Dude, the Oliphants look cool as hell, though.
It's funny you mentioned Lord of the Rings. When I was doing the Bruce Campbell thing, he was talking about how much he doesn't like Peter Jackson because he was doing a show called Jack of All Trades, and he was riding a horse that was called Black Beauty. And they're shooting it down in New Zealand. The only problem is when he's in New Zealand, all the black horses were taken by Peter Jackson, so he could never have a black horse.
Aww.
That's a funny story when he told it.
Cool.
And then you found $5.
He did hand out Bruce bucks if you got trivia questions right.
What? That's cool.
And he's like, they're worth nothing.
Aw.
But they're like Monopoly money with his picture on it. It's pretty funny.
That's cool. The only other thing I watched this week was I saw The Right Stuff, which I had actually never seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen a movie about space?
I know, right? So it's Philip Kaufman's film from 1984 about the first seven, the astronauts who basically did the. It's really about. It's about test pilots, the creation of the NASA program, and then it sort of, and then the Gemini and Mercury missions. And it's there is so much stuff in this movie that is really great. It's 3 hours long, and there's probably 40 minutes that you kind of don't need. There's things that here's what I'll say. Sam Shepard is maybe the best part of this movie. His whole story as Chuck Yeager is so fucking cool, and is maybe the most emotional part of the film, because here's this guy who chooses not, I mean, spoilers for history, chooses not to go with the other test pilots that he's sort of friends with or in the same group with to be an astronaut, and has this same yearning to just keep pushing the envelope and eventually kind of tries to get into space on his own. His story is so endearing and wonderful, and Sam Shepard just kills it. He's so fucking good. And here's these guys who are all Dennis Quaid actually plays a character named Hot Dog, or at least his nickname is Hot Dog. But they're all just hot dogs.
My nickname to be Hot Dog,
right?
That's awesome.
But all of these guys with him, with the exception of John Glenn, are all hot dogs. They're all just trying to show off, and they want to be the coolest, and they want to be, even for a minute, the fastest guy on the planet. And Sam Shepard plays Chuck Yeager so cool that he's he has a reason that he keeps doing it, but it's not just because he wants to be the fastest or because he's the cool. It's it's almost like he just keeps doing it because he's once somebody else goes faster than him, it means that he didn't push the envelope hard enough and he could do it harder, right? It's a self challenge as opposed to these other guys who just sort of want to show off. And but the story of the first seven and the creation of NASA is pretty great. You like the guys a lot. There's a lot of funny little stories in there, especially of the different tests they had to go through, and I think maybe the best sort of subplot that they have with the first seven is this whole thing where early on sort of they're all struggling against each other and squabbling, and one day they sort of realize wait a second, guys, there's a lot of people out there who are actually working against us and want to just put a monkey in space and move on. If we fight amongst ourselves, we're all going to lose. The truth is, if we can sort of band together and be a real team here, we can actually make something cool happen. And part of the shift that happens there is that the astronauts who, yes, very early on were just test pilots, eventually become leaders inside of the space program. And, they're the guys on the ground in the command center, actually kind of helping control what's happening. And by the time you get to the Apollo missions, they are intricately involved in what's, in the decisions that are being made. There's a lot of shit about this movie that's not good, though. There's some really long sequences that are pretty boring, and some things that are really left out that's just awful. The biggest thing being that they tell the story of Gus Grissom landing in the ocean and his hatch blowing open and they show you like the disgrace that he feels and that like all the pain that his wife goes through as he's the second man in space, and after Alan Shepard goes into space, like his wife got to meet Jackie Kennedy and do all these amazing things, and they got parades through New York City, and Gus comes back and they never meet the president, and nothing happens, and he's swept under the rug because everybody thinks that he freaked out and blew the capsule, and and everybody sort of tries to twist it to make it seem like he's a hero, but at the same time everybody is just shitting on this guy. And by the end of the movie, they never reveal that they eventually proved he was right and that the capsule door could blow on its own and that he didn't completely fuck up. And I'm like, how do you make this movie and not redeem this guy? Like, you have this big dramatic sequence, and it's so easy, especially because of what then happens. Like, to me, it's one of the most dramatic stories in the space program. And yes, I have to reference, like, Episode 2 of From the Earth to the Moon, which tells this story
What's that one about?
So fucking well.
It does tell it very well.
It tells it so well. And so to leave that out is kind of disgraceful of like this guy who, literally put his life on the line for
I haven't
it,
seen
so.
The Right Stuff in a while. Remind me again, is there a post-credit, not post-credit,
No.
like, not post...
We're going to the moon! Thanos shows up, he's like, I'm going to the moon.
Did I tell you about the Apollo missions?
Yes.
The Apollo Initiative.
The NASA Cinematic Universe.
Black Dynamite, Black Astronaut. I'm here to talk to you about the Moon Project. Is there a end a title crawl at the end where it's like
Not really. There's a voiceover, and it's actually a really shitty voice. Like the movie kind of just falls apart at the end.
Right.
So the last sequence of the film is the astronauts all move to Houston. There's a really long section where John Glenn is like they're having this big parade with all the astronauts moving to Houston, and there's like this long sequence that's very boring, and like LBJ is there and giving a speech that's really boring. Meanwhile, Chuck Yeager is stealing a plane and flying into space, and you're like, this is the story that's awesome. And that happens. He crashes that plane. Again, spoilers for history. Sorry. And then they just cut back to those astronauts watching a stripper lady with Johnson. And Then they do go to Dennis Quaid finally goes into space. So that's actually the last thing. And as he's shooting into space, then they talk about like, oh, this guy goes into space. Oh, and then Gus Grissom dies later. And that's the credits. Like, literally, that's all.
Wait a minute.
Done.
How did he die?
He died in the Apollo 1 fire.
Oh, I didn't know. Did the voiceover not tell you that?
No, it did. No, it did. It said, it said Ed White and Roger Chaffee.
I'm just kidding. I knew
but it
that.
was just weird, and it doesn't say he was eventually proved right before he died in a fire that was caused by the fact that he died, that he was proved right.
I want to watch it again now and give a counter review because I haven't seen it in a while, but I want to see if what you're saying is correct. I mean,
so much
I
of it is
believe you
good
because you know more shit than I do.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I just want to see if maybe that's the point of the film.
So maybe the most accurate thing
No.
Zach's ever said on this podcast.
So much of the film is really good, but for 3 hours long to end up being as boring as it is in the last hour and to waste as much time as it does on things that don't matter to these characters, it doesn't matter that they moved to Houston. That's not actually anything to do with these guys being brave, like, pilots. Like, that doesn't matter at all. Why do I have to watch John Glenn be paraded around for 20 minutes? Like, intercut with a really interesting story of Chuck Yeager. It's just frustrating, and there's a reason why Philip Kaufman didn't make more great movies. So... anyway, it's cool. You should check it out. Yes, it has like two of the most iconic shots especially from the 80s of the slow motion guys walking down the hall at the camera that gets referenced all the time, and the footprints of a guy running down a hall to like pop in a door and go like, they put a man in space, and everybody goes, we know, get in here. Which is great. Every time that oh shoot, what's his name? Independence Day. The funny guy who talks funny, the guy who yawns, and he yawns because dinosaurs.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's in the movie, and he's great.
That's The Lost World.
I know. I was just trying to. Yeah. Anyway, it's cool. I'm glad I own it. I probably won't watch it again for another 15 years, because there's so many places you can get that story like a lot better. So.
It's
anyway.
like, yeah, you know that movie where Liam Neeson saves Jewish people. What's it called? Taken. That's right.
Anyway, that's it. Right?
So I watched Billy Madison twice this week. It was
Yes,
on
you did.
it was on IFC, and I really love this movie. One, because it's Adam Sandler's first starring movie, and for people that just think of Adam Sandler as a whoopity-doo guy, he does that in this movie, obviously, but he also has this like
do guy,
like this really weird sense of humor throughout that film that just like kind of like seeps in every once in a while. There's a part in it where he his girlfriend's saying, you know, maybe you shouldn't be a bully and you're getting paid back for how you were in high school. And so he calls Steve Buscemi up and he's like, I'm sorry for that. He's like, okay, man, no worries. And then Steve Buscemi hangs up the phone, crosses out Billy Madison's name on a list of people he's going to kill, and puts lipstick on. Nothing said of it. And then 40 minutes later, Billy Madison's going to get shot at his like academic decathlon
by Bradley Whitford.
By Bradley Whitford, and then Steve Buscemi shoots him in the ass. And Adam Sandler looks at the camera and goes, I'm glad I called that guy. I just miss Adam Sandler stuff like that, or Chris Farley making out with the penguin that Billy Madison hallucinates, but for some reason is...
Everybody's going to treat you very respectable like at the zoo, Mr. Penguin.
It's just bizarre Adam Sandler humor that's awesome. And I love it. And I don't know, I watched it... Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. Probably like 3/4 of it. Then my wife came home and she turned it on because IFC runs the same movie every day, all day long. I was like, okay, I'll watch it again because it's funny. And yeah, it makes me laugh. I'm pretty sure it was on my list of 1995.
Yes, it was.
Probably.
I know it was. Just kidding. I also watched a Scream Factory release called Don't Knock Twice, which is
was that the one with the creepy hand on the front?
Yeah.
She won't let you open the door or something like that.
It's knock once to raise her from the dead, knock twice to call her. I forget, whatever.
Okay.
But it's an actual it's an actual English like folklore.
Oh, cool.
What's the name of the witch? It's like some witch when you knock and she shows. So it's like you knock and you run away. Anyways, you knock and run away and she comes after you, and it's an English film that stars Katie Sackhoff.
So is it just like an urban legend designed to make people stop ding dong ditching?
I guess
that's
so.
what it sounds like.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty well made. I'm always surprised. I don't know how many of you watch. Well, I know you watch British cinema. But even their
I watch British television shows. Does that count?
Yeah, but I mean, even their television shows. So even like their like low budget movies still look pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And I think they just have a lot of talented people there.
And they get a lot of grants to the government.
And so this movie's like shot really well for not being that big of a budget. But what I really liked is the monster in it. They got some contortionist.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah, Baba Yaga.
Which is also in the Tomb Raider video game.
Exactly. Thank you. And so they got some contortionist, this guy to play the witch. And he's really tall and lanky, and he moves really well. And I really appreciate it because it wasn't CGI. And so the creature design was really cool. And actually, Katie Sackhoff wasn't too bad. And she plays a mom who was a drug addict and lost her daughter. And she goes back to see her daughter. And her daughter, in the meantime, is being haunted by this witch because her and her friend knocked on this door. It's a slow build again, but the movie's shot really well. The ending kind of falls apart because they try to do this twist, and I don't know if it really works that well. Sometimes I think horror films try to explain themselves too much, and it's just better just to just let it play and see what happens. But for a Scream Factory title that's $9.99, it's pretty interesting. And I mean, if you like British horror, it's pretty well done. I also watched The Mummy in 4K, the Tom Cruise thriller.
Oh,
and I actually liked it more this time watching it because I don't know. I still think there's parts in it that are really effective. And sometimes the universe building really gets in its way. But I wasn't as bothered with the Mr. Hyde part. I think maybe because I saw it before. And I think I was just disappointed because when I think of Mr. Hyde, I expect him to be like super grotesque and super bulky and
Sure.
crazy. Maybe I'm just thinking of Van Helsing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but Russell Crowe's really good at playing the two guys because as Mr. Hyde's kind of a Cockney guy, and the other one's proper. Dr. Jekyll's a proper English guy, and Tom Cruise has really great moments in it when he comes back from the dead and he's in the bar. I still don't really understand why he's a sergeant and he that's the only part.
I don't know what his job is.
Yeah, he's a sergeant in the military. But it doesn't seem like...
But he's a thief.
But he's a thief?
But he's a thief? So that's the only problem. I'm like, what is he doing?
And his job is to, look for antiquities?
And I will correct Henry. He's mentioned before, he said, they're like, be careful with this. And then the next scene, it's the sarcophagus is flying in the helicopter.
Yeah.
They actually say, be careful with this after they land and they're trying to escape the sandstorm.
Oh,
so
right.
I'll just correct Henry on that one.
It is weird, though, when they cut to that shot where you're like, really? You couldn't just put it in a helicopter?
It doesn't fit. I do it all the time.
I'm just saying, archaeologists would probably lose their shit. Being
there's a sandstorm and they needed to get out of there. Okay.
and that mummy was about to give birth to dust babies, guys.
Yeah.
I don't. I have to watch it again. I don't. When I saw it, I was probably a little more hostile about it because I had just seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I let it digest in me a little bit, I mean.
Yeah, I never thought it was again. I don't think Tom Cruise makes bad movies, but it's almost there. I think if they would have just kept the horror elements, it would have been better.
I think another pass at the edit might have helped
Maybe
a little bit because again, and I know this is a stupid thing to be bothered by, but the whole Jake Johnson at the end thing still bothers me because of I thank you for bringing me back from the dead, but why are we here? I'm like, ugh.
That doesn't bother me at all. I'm I want a movie where you have a fun character.
It almost sounds like they're setting up Tom Cruise to be a Van Helsing type of character,
right? Where
he's going to come back and fight all these monsters, and he has a monster ability, which I would be down with.
Well, it'd be cool and it'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean,
I know it's funny too. We were talking about last week, it wasn't that successful. I looked it up, when I was just watching it. It made $410 million worldwide.
I think.
Can you believe that?
What was the budget though?
125.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not terrible.
I think the problem is the reason they say it's not a big success is because domestically.
Yeah, I did 80, but
and it's hard to justify because domestically it's a low opening or it's a low gross for a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, it is. But I think going back to The Mummy might have been a mistake. I think they were playing on the Brendan Fraser one was really popular, and we had Tom Cruise. I think if they would have started with a different monster, maybe Frankenstein's monster or even Creature from the Black Lagoon, I think would be fun.
I would have loved that if Tom Cruise himself played the Creature from the Black
Lagoon. I would argue that actually starting with The Mummy is a pretty great choice because it's an easy character, or maybe the Wolfman would be another good one, right? It's an easy character where you understand the villain.
Yeah, they tried that.
Well, yeah, you understand the villain really easily, and so as a result, you just get to make a fun adventure film, right? And spend your time making the characters fun, and that's sort of what's wrong here is that they didn't make that choice. Instead, they said, the villain's easy because it's a mummy and it makes dead people alive, and then they were like, but that means we get to spend all this time creating this sort of universe we're trying to birth.
And I still think it probably should have been rated R. There's
that you're never going to get.
Yeah, I know. There's really weird. I think in horror movies, it's really weird when the cuts don't make sense to me. But it always bothers me too. And I know it's just nudity, but there's that weird haze, so you don't see nudity. It drives me crazy.
Like when she's a naked lady who's going to kill people.
Yeah, when she's calling set and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's just that thing where they shoot it from an angle where you get a bunch of side boob, so but then it's.
But in this one though, if
you don't have to
if you watch it
on the lens,
yeah, she bends down and it's this smear. It's
I don't
weird.
remember that. But I would say the movie's not really a horror film.
No.
That's the thing. It's really an adventure film, the way that the Brendan Fraser films were, right? Those weren't really horror movies either. Which is kind of what I want if you're gonna make we're gonna fight a bunch of crazy different monsters series. I probably want them to be sort of adventure movies with touches of horror in there, horror themes. But
and the last thing I watched all horror this week. The last thing I watched was the Ouija Origin of Evil.
Oh, how is it?
It's actually really good. It's fascinating to me. They're almost the same story, the first two, but you have a film director that kind of restrains himself with the supernatural moments. like it's just creepy enough. You know, it's not like overtly scary. It's not like, oh, I can't sleep at night, but he gives you enough, and he builds the characters enough where you care about them.
Yeah.
Because if you saw the first Ouija, you actually kind of know how it's gonna play out, which is always a danger with prequels. But this one, he actually shot it better, makes it look cooler. Like the period piece looks great. When you watch the film, it has like pops in the film and scratches. And they use the old Universal logo to really sell you, and like the title card.
Title card's like House of the Devil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool, and so he does really well. And there's a scene that I really point to. So in the first Ouija, there's a part where the lady from Bates Motel, she holds up the planchette and she looks through it, and there's like a apparition to her right, and she has her mouse shown. She points like, boo, 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 and so she like whips over here, and there's some ghost who goes, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, whatever, it's not scary. In this one, the little girl holds up the planchette, and you just see like this little thing move, like just in the distance, and that's it. That's the end of the scene. And so the guy plays with you a little more, and there's parts where like people will lay down, and you see like a demon over there. You're like, oh, that's what I like. I don't like crazy like it's in your face. It doesn't scare me because I understand the beats.
You don't like the parts where Pennywise is in the basement and he's running at you going blah. You like the parts where Pennywise is across the field with a bunch of balloons being like, "Hey, guy."
Yeah, but see that in that movie that's effective.
No, I know. I'm just
yeah, exactly,
like,
exactly.
In other horror films, yeah.
Because I think Pennywise is scarier when he's in the sewer.
Yeah,
and he's talking.
He's like, "I like popcorn."
Yeah,
that's scary.
That's scary because he has to have a moment where he realizes he's not human.
Yeah.
That to me is creepy.
Yeah.
Just being like, is not creepy at all.
Right.
So
I think you're more referring to like what James Wan's able to do in the stuff like
exactly.
the Conjuring films where my biggest example is the painting.
Oh, yeah,
in
absolutely.
Conjuring 2, where you think you're seeing something, but he's not going to let you know if you're right or wrong until you least expect it. But not in a funhouse way.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is fun. It deals with a family where they lost their father, and the mom swindles people out of money by having her kids set up like the seances, and then they slowly communicate with their dead husband in quotes, and it just kind of unravels from there. Dead husband.
Were they never really married?
Being like I got lost interest by the end.
Yeah.
And everything had been good up to that point.
Yeah, because it builds up steam really well, but then it has to connect to the first Ouija movie, and you're like, oh. Yep, that had to happen.
Aren't there enough Ouija boards that a sequel to the Ouija prequel would just be a different Ouija movie?
I would
say
that
sentence was
Ouija
hard.
3, the wequel.
The wequel. I would say that
WEAK.
As never being in a movie boardroom, but picturing how it would play out is, let's see, that Ouija movie we did really well. What did people really respond to?
I love that you still think executives smoke big cigars. Probably wear bow ties.
Let's ask the unemployed people that watched it in a mall, and they're like, "Oh, that one little girl in it was really scary. Let's write another movie about that." See, and then that's how that movie spawned, where the setup is really great, and then it's like, "Oh, here's the ending that we have to have."
This is my impression of Kevin Feige. Yeah, that Doctor Strange movie did really well.
Yeah. But it means that like now, if you want to make a sequel to this one, if this one did well, your sequel to this one is a sequel to the first one?
I don't know what they're going to do.
I like how the movie executives sound like the mobster lobster.
That's right.
See?
Yeah. Those moving pictures, see?
And the way you smoke a cigar is you hold it and shake it a lot.
Yeah, that's what they do. Have you ever seen 1930s cartoons?
Nah.
Moving pictures are great. My mother thinks they steal your soul, but what does that old bag know?
Oh, funny.
They also let vampires see the sunrise for the first time.
Shut up, vampire.
See, I have deep cuts in movies. I know my movies.
Shadow of the Vampires are really good, too.
Speaking of movies, this week on Reel Nerds Podcast, we saw Kingsmen, The Golden Circle. Corinne, should people see Kingsmen, The Golden Circle?
Oh, boy. That's a really tough question. I guess if you saw the first one and you liked it, then you'll probably like the second one too. It felt very similar in some ways. It hit a lot of the same beats. It had a lot of the same kind of level of ridiculousness that the first one did. The action is very similar. So I guess. If you didn't see the first one, I wouldn't recommend it.
James?
Probably not. I wouldn't really recommend it. As it was over, when it was finally over, I thought back and I was like, oh well, yeah. I mean, it was okay. And then I went, Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage was more fun. So yeah, no, not really. And I'll talk about why later.
Brad?
I actually thought it was a lot of fun. They're like the best parts are the character development moments. The action's really dynamic. Like from a filmmaking perspective, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. How like a lot of this stuff is continuous, and the choreography for the action scenes is really creative. But as I was watching the movie, I also made a list of like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
It's an
so we're gonna get to go through your list of crazy. I have one of those too. I mean, I didn't write it down, but that's
I was
cool.
at the Alamo being like, I have all this paper next to me. Why have I not been taking notes like this whole time for other movies? And then what else? I just had on my head. My last thought. Shoot, you distracted me.
Sorry,
you ruined it.
I was so excited by your notes.
Yeah, no.
Character
development, like it was fun.
Bad stuff.
List of dumb.
The kind of the main villain plot was like a little less interesting, but I haven't seen the original one since I saw the original one.
Okay.
So there's parts of the movie where I'm going like I don't remember, like they've already connected the dots.
Yeah, like
and I don't remember how they got there.
I had some of the same stuff.
So luckily there's a couple flashback things, but yeah, I didn't remember characters they're referencing at times, so I was a little lost. But overall, I think it was fun. It's just a fun escape movie, very comic booky.
Zach?
So, me having watched it with the first one right before going into this one, I was a little bit more up to speed. So I don't think I had the same crisis that you did. It's really hard for me to review this film, actually, because there's a part of me that absolutely loves the shit out of this. There's another part that has to acknowledge that it's not as strong as the first one, and it's kind of like a consistent sequel rather than a sequel that tries to outmatch its predecessor, which a sequel should try to do at the very least. But there's a moment in this film that is very powerful, and it's from Colin Firth. But outside of that, I mean, like, if you saw the first Kingsman and you're curious, go right ahead. If the trailer got you interested, especially, like, the trailer hooked me, because I thought they actually, like, using a Frank Sinatra song to sell that particular style of movie I thought was interesting. So I'm like, all right, I'll bite. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's really up to you at this point.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Corinne. I think it's a really fun movie, but I think you have to see the first one and appreciate the first one to even like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the action is super dynamic. I have a couple criticisms, but my biggest criticism about the film is the fun takes long gaps. So there's lots of fun stuff, and then there's gaps where it's not as fun. And then it gets back to being fun, and then there's another gap of it not being fun. I think if you're going to make a movie like this where everything's cranked up to 11, just keep it going, because the lulls are really lull.
I actually think for a 2.5 hour movie, like it had a brisk pace. Like I didn't feel
I agree it had a brisk pace, but it's just like, now I have to hear Halle Berry talk about how she wished she was in the field. Don't care. I want to see Eggsy just shoot people. Anyways, here's a trailer for Kingsman, the Secret Service. The Golden Circle.
We're from the Kingsmen tailor shop in London. Maybe you've heard of us?
Today marks the beginning of a new age. Wait, I'm going to show you. Say goodbye to the Kingsmen.
Kind of got a bit of a save the world situation here.
Welcome to Statesman.
As your American cousins, we'll be working side by side.
Let's get started.
We've got brains, skills, skipping rope.
It's a lasso.
Whatever. It's very American.
Fuck yeah. Manners maketh man.
Do you know what that means?
So I do agree with Matthew Vaughn, though. Colin Firth should not have been revealed in the trailer or the marketing, because I think that would have impacted the way we would perceive this film, in a way. Maybe not, but like, because it's tough, because it is about Harry in a weird way. Like, the movie is about Harry, whereas the first one is trying to focus a lot more on Eggsy. I feel that this film focuses more on Harry as a person, or at least attempts to, but doesn't quite hit the mark. I mean, like, there's that whole thing, like, when we discover that he's alive from the first movie, after being dead, like, he's got a whole butterfly thing going. And, like, at first I was like, what the fuck is that? I don't even remember that, and I just saw the first movie a minute ago. But there's a moment, and I thought it was actually a very powerful, like, second, where he gets freaked out that someone's going to take him away from his butterflies and his mom. And I was like, whoa, is Matthew Vaughn making me feel things? And then it goes away really quickly. But there's a glimpse where I'm like, shit.
No,
it's Colin Firth mainly.
I think Matthew Vaughn's a hell of a filmmaker. I mean, I think the opening when he comes out and they're fighting in the car is spectacular.
That seems good.
I mean, it's...
Oh, I actually didn't like that scene.
No?
I thought the action was like... I just could not follow it. It was all over the place, and it felt like a video game.
Oh. I mean, that's how I feel about literally every not very good action scene in this movie.
But it was only that one scene. It wasn't like any of the other ones where... Maybe it was just because it was like in a car, and it was like really close quarters and dark. Yeah.
So in that scene, he's fighting like robot arm guy, and then he's got a chauffeur who gets stabbed in the neck, and then eventually... dies, and then Eggsy like just takes his seat to take like what happened to that chauffeur?
I was wondering about that.
Fell out of
He's
the
on
car.
the ground.
Yeah.
Whenever the car flies forward, you see the chauffeur fly.
Yeah,
out
he
of
does.
Flies through the windshield
out,
too.
Yeah, you see his body on the
I
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Of all the crazy dumb things about this movie, that's not the first one.
That's not the first
Can
one?
we just
I mean, it's the first one in
acknowledge
chronological, but
how
holy shit.
Elton John stole the show in this movie? Like, if you had told me before I walked in the best character in this movie, other than Harry, is Elton John, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I would agree. Well,
I thought he was fun.
I think the joke's funny the first time. Or the second time. But at a certain point, him saying fuck, just not funny anymore. The ninja kick is good, but like, at a certain point, I'm just like, this is your well. It's a very shallow well. And I don't know why you keep going back to it. Like, the ninja kick's cool. I think having the action scene set to his song, where like he's actually sort of playing the song, sort of, like that was at least clever. But I also didn't think the action scene was very interesting. So
isn't the song Saturday? What day is today?
Yeah, that was funny. But just him saying like "fuck you," like that, it was funny like twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably better if Rod Stewart was in it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, but it wouldn't be funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's not flamboyant enough.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like
I'm
Elton John in a giant peacock outfit doing a ninja kick with a giant sign that says Elton behind him. Pretty awesome, but it's like one of those things that's funny if you saw it on the internet in a still image and you'd be like, that's great. And then you would move on to the next thing for your day.
And I kept on hoping that his hill would stick in that dude's head.
Yes. Like some actual gore with Elton John would have been a way to like really ratchet that up.
And then, of course, Julianne Moore in this film. It's a weird. It's weirder than Sam, man. And it may be because they upped the ante on her wackadoodleness by having her have another man shove a man into a meat grinder, and then she proceeds to make the man burger. But that's not all, guys. Her new recruit has to eat that man burger.
I hated
Yeah,
that whole sequence.
that whole subplot is not very
It
interesting.
was
Like, I think
extremely
she's
uncomfortable
great.
in a movie that was otherwise enjoyable.
See, I didn't find it uncomfortable at all. I just saw it and was like, "Oh, yep, here's Mark Miller trying to be shocking." Like, I didn't find it shocking at all. I was just like, "Okay, I'm in a movie. This isn't real, and you're not actually. I don't give a shit about any of these people."
It reminded me of Kick-Ass with the big microwave, where I was like, "This seems outlandish."
And I can't. It won't ever turn my stomach when like you threw a full man in there, and then like perfectly clean ground beef came out. Like, there's not shirts in there. There's not like. If this is not a bloody mess that you right, like no, none of this is realistic. So I'm not gonna watch the man eat the burger and go like, "Ew, man, no, he didn't. He ate some hamburger that you got."
I was still grossed out.
What's the relevance of the golden circle? Like, I couldn't figure out like why that was.
It's just
a
her
thing.
symbol, I guess.
Yeah, it's just her symbol.
Like, she has this, Americana thing going, but then she just picks a gold circle.
I love that idea.
Is it wicked of me? I'm like, I kind of agree with the president. I don't care.
I think man, that whole
Well.
oh my god. So yes, actually,
letting people die. Yeah, that's probably wrong.
Right.
Don't do drugs.
The whole thing of like, we see this whole sequence where this guy like has to murder a man in a meat grinder and go through all this shit, and then we find out that like what's his face's girlfriend who just likes going to music concerts has gone through that. Like what? Like none of that, because she also has the golden circle thing. So like, what is that initiation? Why would she be in the circle?
For different people on different
Yeah, like
levels
you get.
of
Maybe she's just.
organization.
Maybe her thing is just to pass out drugs at the concert.
I guess so. Yeah.
I think this film, like the first film, relies on a lot of convenience, but this time around,
dear Lord!
But this time, unlike the first time where we give it a bit of a pass because it's something a little fresh, this time we're like, okay, well, you already showed me this, and now your coincidences just look kind of silly.
Oh, constantly.
So I mean, like, I don't think there's anything really wrong with it, what they do in the film, but I do have to like acknowledge that those coincidences are there. They're glaring.
I like Mark Strong a lot. I like his little send off.
I'm sitting there going like, why did he have to die? Like, can't you just stand on the mine, find a different plan? Because they're like super talented assassin guys. Like, they could just take out what's her name? I just blank right now. Poppy, and then come back for him. Like, and
That's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah,
it's a distraction.
Anything.
And it's even worse because they set up like, oh, Mark Strong's going to get in the field and like do some cool stuff finally, and then they just throw him
He
away
did do
like
cool
a scene later.
stuff.
Maybe
No, he didn't.
wanna
He
come
just
back. Maybe
died.
it was like a
No, he
Harrison
saved
Ford thing.
everybody's life.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't. He
lame.
just killed 5 guys.
Yeah, the villains. Who cares about them?
No, I mean that, but that's not. After that, our heroes killed 1 billion guys.
He even said like a couple scenes earlier with Halle Berry, like he had no interest in ever being in the field. And then he like decides to finally be in the field.
He
just
barely
'cause.
kills more people than Elton John.
Yeah.
Like,
which is a statement you never thought you'd
I know,
ever
I liked
say.
it.
But I did love, as weak as his sacrifice seems, I love him singing John Denver.
Yes. So good.
I thought that was actually really good. Like, Mark Strong's always been great. And
Yeah, Mark Strong's great.
This is amongst like one of his finer moments, like just as an actor to prove.
I like that he's not a bad guy. He's always the bad guy and stuff.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
this
yeah.
time he's like,
I love
Well,
it.
because he is.
guy.
Well, because he is also like suave and like that.
Yeah.
Like, he has the cool English accent. You know what I mean?
I just always remember him as the guy who goes, "You
I just-
wine your guys."
Wouldn't it have been way more interesting to have like him have a really interesting moment where something about his character came back that he like,
What would that be?
I don't know. You'd have to write any fucking characters. Like, to the argument that the argument that the movie is about Harry, to me, is so weak because I don't know what his plot is other than that they magicked him back to life and he forgot who he was until he remembered. Like, which wasn't great in Men in Black 2 either.
I'm not saying it's a strong argument. I'm just saying that's what they're attempting. Do they get away with it? Not really. But there's moments where you think it could work.
Yeah.
Again, as I
Also,
said,
criminal underuse of Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
that
only
was
here for a sequel.
You know, for like, as the trailer sold this movie, I thought that the like the Statesman people were going to be in it way more than they were.
And it was mostly ancient whiskey. And,
and Pedro Pascal wasn't even billed on the poster or anything.
Yeah. I love Jeff Bridges' character. If you watch him, he's constantly smelling like alcohol.
Yeah.
I think that's a really
he's
cool
really
character.
good. He's really
Cigars.
good. Yeah.
No, he's
no. He keeps dipping his finger in the whiskey bottles and like rubbing it on his upper lip.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was. I did notice one scene where he like takes out a cigar and
he does
smells
do that.
it.
Yeah,
he does that
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
Collecting
Jeff
his
Bridges is
$1 million
really good.
paycheck.
Right, exactly.
Also, Dumbledore number 2 has a
Michael
cameo in the movie,
Gambon.
and it's really funny watching Michael Gambon say, "Oh fuck."
They kill him off after like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was a fun.
Elton John has more screen time in this movie than Michael Gambon does.
It was a fun little cameo, though. I mean,
True.
it was harmless.
I was really pissed they killed off Roxy.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off.
I thought
too.
she was gonna like come back at the end because she's one of the few who saw it coming, and so she had a little more lead time.
She like jumps out of the bed as if to give you hope, and then they pan back to like the whole continent blowing up.
Yeah,
like just to make sure like nope, not even close.
I thought maybe she had like a
bunker.
Bunker like
Maybe.
inside the closet or something,
Maybe
like
they
a
can bring her
capsule.
back.
Well, if we know anything about the Kingsman series, guys, is when the next one comes out, someone might come back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no one
'cause
can
it's-
die in these.
Apparently.
Although going back to your point earlier, Zach, of that you agreed with Vaughn that we shouldn't have known about Harry, I honestly don't know if I would have seen this movie if I hadn't known Colin Firth was in it. Honestly, he was the best part of the first one for me, and his
Absolutely.
and Eggsy's relationship is the strongest part of this whole series, because I really feel like they've bonded and they're on. I see them as like a father-son or honorary father-son kind of duo, and I know other people have different takes,
and that's why I feel like that's why they're attempting to examine it from a different angle in this film via Harry as opposed to mainly Eggsy, but it doesn't work as often as it should. But but like I said, there are moments when it can work.
After 80 years of tracking devices in films, why does this one have to be in her vagina?
Oh my gosh!
Shock value.
Because
and that shot
I
where it like
couldn't-
hands down to it's like really.
Because we needed
Really?
a finger fucking joke, guys. Everybody.
Yep. Thanks, Mark.
Couldn't have put it in her mouth or something? Jeez.
Yeah.
Up her nose.
So-
Literally anywhere else.
Yeah.
Some other notes I made were so Eggsy's security, like Eggsy's secret like room, his office.
Oh yeah.
You can just open like if anyone just touches the record player, like they'll find out that he's a spy. Like what kind of security is that?
Yeah.
And for the Kingsmen being like having all this insane technology, they don't have an early warning system for missiles flying at their
It was
residences.
weird how like all 10 agents were home when that happened.
Yeah.
Like Eggsy was the only one who wasn't.
Yeah.
Convenience.
Convenience.
It's all fun.
Also, like with all the crazy technology in this movie, Harry can't have a bionic eye. Like he has to have an eye patch.
Oh no, we ain't got time for
Because
that.
an eye patch is
They
cooler,
restore
man.
his brain
Yeah.
and everything, but they can't make him a bionic
it's
eye.
easier.
An eye
Yeah.
patch is more gentlemanly like.
And also, the guy with the bionic arm, he throws a bowling ball through a wall that takes out the jungle.
Yeah.
But he slams it into Eggsy's chest and nothing. No big deal. Like it hurts, but it's just like regular punch.
Well, he didn't let it go.
Yeah.
So there's no force behind it.
Because it's a living cartoon, and
Oh no,
rules don't apply.
I realized afterwards I was like, actually, what this movie is a less funny, less smart version of Archer. Like it's a main character who's kind of a shitheel, who I kind of don't like, but is kind of lovable for some reason, and then this ridiculous, over the top private spy agency, and then a lot of sex jokes and weird villains and robot people. Lots of robot people.
Yep, that was weird.
Archer's really good.
The little Archer meets Kingsman was funny at the
Yeah, that
beginning.
was good. Yes. Yeah. Oh, at the Alamo,
Oh.
they showed it was a promo they did for Kingsman 1.
Yeah, I
where it
watched
was
it,
like
right on time.
Oh, okay. It was a promo where Eggsy breaks into his house, or no, he's like getting home, and Archer's already. Oh,
and he's at the
he's
tailor
getting to the
shop,
shop. Yeah, and Archer has already gotten there, has broken in and stolen a bunch of shit, and then they end up having a drinking contest where Eggsy's gonna like poison him or whatever. So he sprays something into the glass, and you pan up, and Archer is just drinking from the bottle, has finished the bottle, yells that he's won, and falls over. And I was like, "Yep, Archer's really good, man." So yeah,
yep.
I mean, I liked it enough. I'd probably watch it again.
Yeah, had fun.
So let me tell you about XXX: The Return of Xander Cage. So
No.
I will not hear about Vin Diesel.
I have a
You had a
cane
whole
now, I can
episode to
hit
do
you.
that.
It's so good, guys.
When I got out of this movie, I was like, this is like what all those other people say like John Wick is. Like, it's dumb, but yet you like it.
Oh, this
or,
is
like, I liked it at least. This was my John Wick movie. Because I love Colin Firth, and I love seeing him kick ass, and I like Mark Strong, and some of the other people, Pedro Pascal, he was really good in it. Although I didn't like how they had to make him a bad guy at the end. Like, Poppy went down so easily, and then it's like, oh, and then I guess we have to have this other action scene.
Because Poppy's not a formidable villain.
You can't make a ramping slow-mo action scene out of Poppy.
Yeah, we really,
It would
really
have been
needed...
awesome, though, if they
Unless
had.
you, like, filled her full of crack.
We just really needed more magical laser whip.
That was really dumb.
Yeah.
What has Pedro Pascal been in that I'm not aware of?
Game of Thrones. He was in that Wall of China movie. Great Wall
Oh,
of
Matt
China.
Damon. Matt Damon's greatest choice of last year? Yeah. Or this year, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of the Great Wall, The Wall, next week is American Made, directed by Doug Liman, who directed The Wall. Starring with the one and only Tom Cruise. Looks fun.
Until I build my Tom Cruise bot. That's so lifelike.
It'll probably run really fast.
Yes, it will.
Oh, man.
Do you think he runs in this one?
Will it be the best Tom Cruise movie of 2017?
I think it might. It looks good.
Has the potential, guys.
It's just fun that that's even a question, right?
Yeah.
That there's not just one.
I know.
Right?
When's the last time he had two in a row?
Ooh.
Probably sometime when a Jack Reacher movie came out.
Maybe. I have to look it up.
I'm
maybe
feeling
2 years ago because Jack Reacher 2 and then MI5, right?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
tell you
that could be doable.
we have the internet.
Wait, we finally got it?
You have the internet.
It took us 20 years, Ryan.
What are you looking up? Last time he had 2 hits in a row?
No, I'm just going to watch the Jumanji trailer.
Just 2 movies in a row. Or 2 movies in a year.
Yeah.
Oh, in the same year.
Yeah.
I love how the new Jumanji trailers just are ignoring the fact that the kids are in the film at all.
2012 with Rock of Ages and Jack Reacher.
Oh,
okay.
I said Jack Reacher.
In 2008, he did Tropic Thunder and Valkyrie.
I like Valkyrie.
So it keeps being times where he does like a main role and then like a mini role.
In 2002, he did Austin Powers and Minority Report.
Same thing.
Oh, yeah, where he plays movie Austin Powers.
In 99, he did Eyes Wide Shut and Magnolia.
Damn, that was a dark year for him.
96 was Jerry Maguire in Mission Impossible.
That's a good one.
92, Few Good Men and Far and Away. 88, Rain Man and Cocktail.
What you don't know is
86, Color of Money and Top Gun.
There you go.
Holy shit. In 83, All the Right Moves, Risky Business, Losing It, and The Outsiders. See?
That's how you get famous.
That's how you get famous.
What
That's
you don't
cool.
know is I was having that recorded specifically so I can release it as an audiobook called Ryan Frost Reads Tom Cruise's Filmography.
You can also watch it at my house.
Yeah.
I just don't have Losing It and Endless Love.
Are they available or not?
Losing It is available as a 2 DVD set of like 80s teen comedies. And then Endless Love I watched on Amazon Prime for free.
Okay.
Because Endless Love won Best Song of the Year. My love, my love.
Is it Rod Stewart?
No, it's Lionel Richie and Deanne Womack?
I think so.
Something like that. I know it's in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, okay.
It's so weird that I would have that knowledge in my head, but
Tom Cruise is in it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Mm.
So it starts, Vin Diesel's on top of a mountain, and
so
he's
going
got
back
skis.
to the Kingsmen, would you guys watch a third one if they made it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have enough fun with them.
If this show forces me to.
James went into this movie not liking it already.
No,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
it
No,
is.
hold on.
We have
Not true at all.
It is true.
And you can
evidence.
talk to Rafe, because literally as we were, so Rafe had never seen the first one. So I was sitting there like explaining the first film or the things he needed to know. And at one point I genuinely said like I described a couple of the silly things that happened in the first movie. And I went, you know, it's actually or maybe he's the one who first said like, "Oh,
of course he did.
It's kind of like the XXX," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, actually it was." And then I got super excited. And if you don't believe me, you can ask him.
I do not,
he
because
will swear by that.
Zach is right. There is auditory evidence of you saying, "Bleh."
I hate the trailer. I think the trailer was bad. And guess what? The trailer is a lot of what this movie is. I don't think the action in this movie is interesting.
Which trailer?
I find it very boring. Whatever the main one is that shows a lot of like lasso lasers and
The
shit.
Frank Sinatra, My
Probably,
Way?
yeah.
No, there's only one.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw two.
Yeah.
He's just bitter that we picked this over a Lego movie.
Lego
No,
Ninjago.
yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I felt like we should see it.
You can see it.
Apparently,
Yeah.
since
No. I mean the Kingsmen. I was like, I felt like we should see it. The first one I like up until like the last 20 minutes, and I was like, that kind of went because the action in the first one I like a lot more. Especially that church sequence is so cool. There is nothing in this movie that blows me away the way that church sequence did. Not even close. And I agree with Ryan. I think there's a lot of downtime in the middle that's just sort of boring, where I'm waiting for them to give the memory back to a character who died in the last movie that they magicked back into like it's Men in Black 2 bad, like in my mind. Like that plot is so awful and boring and uninteresting. And then the fact that you revive him by like referencing something about a dog that honestly I don't remember because the first movie is not memorable enough. Like it's just not good.
I totally forgot they had to shoot that dog.
Yeah, there's no character arc in this film. There's just not. Like, I don't think there's anybody other. I mean, maybe his whole thing of eventually deciding he wants to get married, but that's like he falls into it because he has to like do this weird thing that's so stupid. Yeah, I don't understand this film at all. I think it's terrible. I mean, it's not life bad.
But it did have two different scenes of British men politely talking while Pedro Pascal beat the shit out of people.
Yeah,
that was fun.
The polite talking was good. The Pedro Pascal part wasn't.
How British people deal with things, how Americans deal with things.
What the fuck were those Southern guys who just out of nowhere the Southern guy walks up and goes,
caricatures?
I could finger fuck your eye or whatever. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? Who wrote this trite garbage?
Go to Tennessee. It's
And then
there
why
all the
the hell-
time.
Why the hell were they
Southern dick.
talking
No,
about like
that's
all
not
the
necessary.
secret spy shit in this random bar?
Right. No.
It was just so they could have a callback to that scene from the first one.
Yeah, which honestly got me excited. I was like, oh, maybe we're going to get a good action scene. And then, no, we didn't. It was just laser lasso.
Well, but you already knew that, right, from the trailers.
Yeah, I know. I was watching it going like, fuck, I was hoping there was only one laser lasso scene because this is so stupid.
Well,
like,
in
this
the
is
bar, he
Resident
doesn't
Evil
use his
stupid.
Laser. He just uses
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
no.
Resident Evil.
I genuinely had moments in this film where, how about the part where they cut to the giant... Why the fuck does the president suddenly have 1 billion cages to individually put drug addicts in?
I think it's only a couple 100,000.
I'm sorry.
It's a weird, dark image, like this, like this stadium filled with people.
Guys,
like
Right,
it's
like when
that's
they-
what taxes pay for.
when
If
they-
we're in a situation, we have steel cages to put people
Yeah, you know,
in.
the only thing I didn't like about that is the CGI was so bad with the people in the cages.
Oh,
I could start picking out the same CGI model in
Yes.
different cages.
Oh, yeah.
So-
yeah. I mean, the intent behind the image is like,
but you didn't need
it's
to.
like dark.
We all have the Katrina Superdome imagery in our head when you said, hey, we're going to lead all the sick people into a giant theater or a auditorium. Everybody in the theater is going like, oh, fuck, that's really bad. And then you cut to this cartoonish, like, we got cages for all of them that we politely put them in so they can dance. What? Who made the cages?
Just like in the first one, how people's heads blew up and they looked like fireworks. So it's,
Right,
yes,
and that's
it's
the part I didn't
ridiculous.
like there either.
It's ridiculous, but so was the first one. So
Yeah.
Tom Cruise next week.
So he's trying to get the
Time
cable
to go
hooked
for
up.
cruise control.
He's trying to get the cable
Next.
hooked up for everybody
Nope.
on the island.
Nope.
So he has to
Why
ski.
wasn't Tom Cruise in Speed 2 Cruise Control? Because that would have just been like,
Because you don't control the cruise.
Tagline
He
for that
controls
movie.
You just
Oh, that
sit
was
along
good.
and enjoy the ride.
That was really good, Brad.
Let's end it there.
Corinne, thanks for coming again.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
bye-bye.
James had preconceived notions about this film.
It's not fucking true.
Reel Nerds Podcast is a Nebulous Visions multimedia production. The Reel Nerds would like to thank the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now open in Sloan's Lake. We also would like to thank Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, especially Andrew. Our music has been brought to you by Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios. And, of course, thanks to James's mother, our most loyal listener. Have a nice day. Reel Nerds Podcast is a partner of Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountain,
we speak.